Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast. This is Camp Slash Horrorcast, Season 1, Episode 6, House of a Thousand Corpses. If this is your first time checking out the podcast network, we appreciate it. Please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And just a reminder, Camp Slash Horrorcast is a weekly live videocast available on Twitch and YouTube. We go live every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time at twitch.tv/WeArePodcastNetwork and youtube.com/WeArePodcastNetwork. As the Camp Slash Horrorcast is live, I will not be editing the audio for this podcast. So what you saw live is what you get here. Please come watch the stream every Monday at 8 p.m. And if you want to see the previous streams, go check out our Twitch or YouTube channel. And for a full list of future films we'll be watching, please head over to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. All links can be found in the description. And with that, on to the Horrorcast.
Alright, we are up and running live and good to go.
Cool, thank you, Ethan. Hey, everybody, welcome to Camp Slash Horrorcast, where we sit down. We need a slogan for this. Somebody come up with a slogan. Where we talk about our favorite horror movies of the past, present, future. Who gives a shit? We're going to talk some horror movies. Listen.
All the points for the batteries drop.
Yeah, yes. All that matters, right. And there's not a single moment in this fucking movie we're about to talk about where the batteries drop. Anyhow, I am your head camp counselor, Duck. I'm here with the other camp counselors. Let's go down the list. We are here with Mr. Javi. Javi, how are you going today, sir?
Better. I'm good.
You had a long day. But you watched the movie. Yeah. And we are going to discuss this, but also you were discussing it earlier with Mr. Jacob Pinkston. Jake, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Another day in paradise, fellas. How are y'all?
Doing well. It's good to see you. We also had Mr. David Jessup. Jessup, how are you doing today?
You good, man?
Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Look in the background there at that fucking that mannequin wearing that T-shirt that glows in the dark. You said, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is badass. We are also here with Mr. Jay McClintock. Jay, how are you today, sir?
I am doing great, man. I'm feeling good, feeling rested, ready to talk some zombie.
Fuck yeah, dude. Also, dig in the headset. We already gave you kudos for the headset, but that is killer. So thank you for joining the headset party. We also have Reverend Ethan Eastwood. Reverend E, how are you doing today, sir?
This will probably be the first of many, considering I wish I had this earlier when I was watching this movie.
No doubt.
What you sipping on?
Yeah, what is that, baby?
Crown apple on the rocks. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Hey, baby.
That CA, man, that's where it's at.
Dude,
that shit is so good. I haven't drank in like a month, so I can't wait to get back to that. And also, finally, we have William Sonama. Will, where are you? Ooh.
Oh,
hey, get up! Don't you like clowns?
Yes.
He got the chicken. He brought the chicken. It's chicken.
Give me my free chicken sample, bro.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Ups the ante every goddamn time. So good.
Dude, how long did... All right, for those listening to the audio podcast, Will is Captain Spaulding right now. He is full out Captain Spaulding.
Oh, great.
Dude, how long did that take?
It's like 10 minutes. It's like the easiest clown makeup ever.
How long did the chicken take to make, though?
This is my child's plastic chicken.
Yeah. A weird statement.
I'm an actor, so I acted.
It looked so real.
Oh, man. He totally upped the ante with that, though. So based upon that, I think we got to start talking about our history with this movie. And I'm going to say Will's probably a fan of it, seeing as he went all out. But yeah, so guys, let's drop it like it's hot. Will, what is your history with this movie? I know you're a huge fan of Rob Zombie's music, like myself.
Yeah.
Who's laughing? What is that?
Sorry, it's Britton. I showed her Will's face paint.
Oh, did you show it to her? Hey, Britton. So, Will, you are a fan of this movie, I take it?
No, like.
Well,
I like it.
What's your
history? It's my
with
least
it?
favorite of all of the zombie movies for sure. I saw it like when it came out. Like I was stoked. I'm a zombie fan, and yeah, I mean it's good, and it was good when I first saw it. But like the more that he did, I started to dislike this movie more because he did so much better. Like Devil's Rejects alone makes this movie look like crap.
Everyone, do me a favor. Somebody is buzzing. Everyone, disconnect their microphones and reconnect them real quick so we can find out who this is, because we do not want that. And that was in the previous cast.
Is it me?
Is it me?
It's somebody. I recognize the last cast.
Me
Too.
you're
So
looking
we'll see what's.
for.
We'll catch who it is. We'll find out who it is. throughout the-
God, we'll fucking sus.
We'll get them. So you saw it in theaters. When you
I'm
saw it in
disconnected.
theaters, Will, what did you think that night? What was
It was fun. No, it's a fun movie. But I think it took more watches to really dislike it. Like,
right?
because it was exciting, but then when you watch it, you're like, this is nothing but other movies kind of mashed all together.
Big time, yeah.
Every
I definitely-
character, almost every set piece, like it's just a lot of. It's an homage to all these movies that are shoved together, and it's good for what it is. And I do enjoy the movie. I'll watch it again. I've watched it twice now in the last month. Just it's still fun, but yeah, it's the worst of all of his.
Yeah.
No,
I-
I'm not.
go ahead,
I wouldn't
Jake.
say that. No, I'm gonna say this. I wouldn't say the worst, but go on.
I'm good.
Well,
Well, let's
Yeah,
talk
you're
about.
next.
Yeah, Jake, you're next. What do you think? What was the first time? Like, what's your history with Rob Zombie in this movie?
Huge White Zombie fan. Was listening to him in the 4th grade. Les Exorcisto, Devil Music, Volume 1. One of my all-time favorite albums. Huge Rob Zombie fan. I went and saw it in movie theaters. It's just stupid, dumb fun. Is it high art? Not at all. But I really do appreciate the film. It's stupid as fuck, and it's campy whenever it doesn't necessarily want to be, but that also just adds character to it. And I mean, everybody else is already probably on the same page. Not the best thing ever, but I mean, it's still stupid, dumb fun. It's a good popcorn slasher flick.
I mean, debatable. We'll get there. David, what do you think? What's your history with Rob Zombie? Are you a fan of his music? And how about this film itself?
I really like the first Rob Zombie album a lot. I think it's great. I love their use of samples, and that album was really cool. Rob Zombie to me is like Halloween rock. You know, it's great. And this was a Halloween rock movie. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it when it came out on DVD. Not a huge fan, but there's lots in it I like. I think it's an awful movie. I think tonally, script, it's just a bad movie, but there's really some great characters in it. There's some great scenes in it. And I rewatched it on Wednesday, and it was really hard to get through because I kept on having to stop it to jerk off to Sharon Moon.
Ooh.
It was like, I'm like, look at that ass jerk off, and I'm like, oh, titty jerk off. I'm like, she's doing Betty Boop jerk off. Like, it's just fuck. 5 hours later, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm 50. I'm 51, so it takes a lot longer.
I mean,
So, but yeah, it's got some great characters, and you know, Rob was smart and took the best characters out of it, and went on and did his other movies. But yeah, it's not a good movie, you know. I mean, he'll even admit it. He even says, he's like, yeah, this is shit. But what's interesting though is how it has a huge cult following, you know, and it's stood the test of time for sure. So yeah, there you go.
how about you, Jake? Can you hear us? Are you back in?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yep. So, Jay, yourself, what is your history with Rob Zombie's music and this movie itself?
Well, Rob Zombie, I discovered his music at a very pivotal time in my life. I was in 8th grade, and
Big time Christian, right?
What's that?
You were big time Christian at that time too, right?
No, I didn't
Oh,
get
okay.
into the church till a few years later. But the album that literally like defined my mid-teens would have to be Astro Creep 2000. It was such a special album. More Human Than Human, Electric Head Part 2, Supercharger Heaven. Like to me, I always looked at like White Zombie and Rob Zombie obviously as the kind of band that I think Gwar and Cannibal Corpse and those other bands always kind of wanted to be but couldn't, because he was actually like really, really talented. And so for me, I was actually 19, and I was really stoked at the end of October in 2000 to go see the sequel to the Blair Witch Project, Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
Book of Shadows.
And there was a trailer for this new movie by Rob Zombie called House of 1,000 Corpses that I was really stoked to see. And then I had to wait 2.5 years to watch it. And so it came out like mid 2003, and I saw it like on a Sunday matinee, and I was like, Well, that was something. I think if I'd have saw it when I was a little bit younger, like when I was like 19, I think I would have been like, yeah, I would have completely defended it like people defended the Phantom Menace for a little while. But 2.5 years to stew, I was like, yeah, that's it was what it was.
Kind of shocked across the board that we're all kind of just like, meh. Javi, what's your history with Rob Zombie and this movie?
All right, picture it. Summer 2005, Bayville, New Jersey. An 18-year-old Javi discovers House of a Thousand Corpses on DVD. That cover scared the shit out of me. And then again, what did it back then? And then I saw,
Or now.
What still does it?
now.
Yeah, I understand.
But I remember just like absolutely being terrified. But one thing I did like about that, I actually liked the DVD special feature. No, the DVD main menu more than the actual movie upon the second rewatch.
Well, shit the bed.
Yeah, the DVD was just like Captain Spaulding just like talking shit to you. So there've been countless times I'll wake up at like 4:30 morning just having Captain Spaulding just talking. It was like, okay, I can fuck with this.
Yep.
And my first introduction to Rob Zombie or White Zombie, his music was I used to stay up late and watch ECW as a kid. And they would have promos for like the most hardcore matches on VHS and shit. And they had White Zombie's More Human Than Human for like their compilation song. So I was like, oh my God, this song fucking slaps. I dig it. So that's it.
Rob Van Dam clips, I'm sure.
Yep. Sabu, Rob Van Dam, Sandman.
RVD.
I mean, yeah. I would say that it's a big part of my adolescence or at least my teens too, because my brother, when he got his car and he had a sound system, he would always put in Rob Zombie. The album, I think it was a self-titled album with Dragula and Living Dead Girl and those tracks. And we used to listen to those all the time while cruising around. And just having that, like Jessup said, that horror Halloween rock kind of music. And that's the thing about Rob Zombie is I never got into White Zombie, but I did like his music, and I love it because it's basically pop music. Why are you laughing, Ethan? What'd I say? Get into?
No. I thought of something funny. That's all.
What'd you think of? Share with the class, Ethan.
Fuck, dude, Will is freaking me out.
Gary is Jeffrey Corey wearing that makeup.
Bro, we're going to talk about that.
Like they're the fucking serial killer.
We're going to talk about that in a second. All right, so we drive around listening to this music. I absolutely loved it. Oh my God, drinking the coffee too.
Can I just appreciate the fact that he's drinking out of a fucking it mug?
That was amazing.
Every single cast.
That was
like
amazing.
He's probably wearing a Hatchet Man fucking.
Oh, you got it, dude. That's the other thing is we listened to ICP. We listened to ICP at the same time too. Like it was Rob Zombie and ICP. It was all that over here. But like I said, he's really good about writing carnival music, and that's what it is. But it's very poppy, and all of his songs are like that, and they're very good. And he's very influenced by punk rock, and he took punk rock and like carnival music and meshed them up, and like his music's really good. And the movie itself, I was big into AintItCool.com back in the day, and they followed the production of this movie from the moment it was announced up until it was released. Because you got to remember, this movie was made in 2000. Like he went in, pitched it. 2 months later, he was on the set filming it. And the pitch that he did was just basically like, I got an idea for a movie called House of a Thousand Corpses. And they just muddled his way through it. And they're like, here's a shit ton of money. Go make it. And he went and made it. And he brought it back to them. And Universal was like, yeah, this sucks. We don't want this anymore. And that's what I thought was them kind of dropping it. And there wasn't a home for it. And then they were going to release it on DVD. And then MGM stepped in. And Rob Zombie ended up making a joke like, you guys don't have any morals like Universal over here. And then they were like, fuck you, Rob Zombie. Then they dropped it. And then eventually, like I said, they were at like an Austin thing because they used to do a lot at the Alamo Draft House through AintItCool.com. And they announced that Lionsgate was finally going to release it in theaters. And so when it came out, I was super pumped, but I didn't go to theaters to see it. I waited for DVD to see it. And my first time watching it was my last time watching it up until today because I despised this movie. I thought it was crap. I hated everything to do with it. Looks like a music video. It's not very good, which is understandable. He directed this at the end of the 90s, like he was using those styles, and his music videos are pretty good. Actually, his thought was like, we're throwing all this money in music videos. Why don't we just make a movie? That's kind of how he got here. And yeah, it looks like an amateur like student film that we all watch because it's Rob Zombie. But at the same time, I don't think it's as bad as I remember it being because there were moments in it that are shocking and fun. and I think we'll get to that when we discuss the movie. And this movie sets the bedrock, or it sets the foundation for The Devil's Rejects, which I would put in top 25 of my all-time favorite movies. The Devil's Rejects, what this is, it's the complete opposite. Like, it's one of my favorite horror movies ever made. It's so much fun. I can't wait till we get to watch it as a group. And the other thing I will say is Rob Zombie, God bless him, his DVD extras are awesome. Like, the behind-the-scenes documentary on the making of The Devil's Rejects is one of the best film schools that you will ever go to. Like, he just goes in depth and shows you how to get it done. So I'm a huge fan of Rob Zombie. This movie sucks, but we got to go to Ethan real quick to see if he has any history. And this is his first time watching it. So, Ethan, do you know anything about Rob Zombie other than it's music for old people like us?
I've listened to some of his songs. I've started slowly getting into Rob Zombie, White Zombie, all that stuff. I'm not as into it as you guys yet, but I'm slowly getting there as I'm discovering more and more of his songs. But God damn, I came in with expectations from his take on Halloween, and this was not anywhere near as good.
What are you talking about? This feels exactly like his take on Halloween.
His take on Halloween was actually good.
What world?
This one can die in the ditches, burn with the witches, and it does not slam, okay?
Slam in the
fuck this shit, dude.
Yeah, it's not great. We need to talk more about your Halloween thing going on there. But yeah, so what have you ever seen any of his other movies other than Halloween? All right. We'll get there. I think we're all going to be kind of
really
agreeing.
Not that good, except for Devil's Rejects.
The Devil Rejects is his magnum opus.
That's his only good one. That's his solo opus. That's all it is.
No.
It's an opus.
I love solo opus.
Will's not agreeing with that. Will, what other movies do you like of his?
Oh, 31. That's my favorite of his. It's ridiculous. It's Running Man horror, and I love it.
You guys
It's Will.
It's Will.
Is it me?
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, I'll switch mics.
Try backing up from your mic. That might be it.
I can switch mics. There's still.
Wait, is it Will?
Boom.
Is it your chair?
No, it was his microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
Am I
microphone.
just too close?
Because
Yeah,
you know
I
a
think
vibrating
so.
chair, Will?
Yes.
Yeah. I've never seen 31. I've never seen Salem. I think was the name of his other one.
Lords of Salem was.
Lords of
I like
Salem.
Lords of Salem. It's a slow dragon, slow burn one.
The
But I like
dragon?
the slow burn, whatever.
Yeah.
It drags on. It insists upon itself also at the same time. So
I
most of
think-
his movies kind of do.
Yeah, but I think what he tries to do is interesting. And so let's get into talking about anyone else like any of his other movies real quick. I think that's probably about it. Jay, how about you? Do you have any thoughts on anything else he's done?
Oh, other movies he's did? Oh yeah, Devil's Rejects was really good. I mean, obviously, it really didn't really strike me as a horror movie so much as it seemed like more like an action thriller crime movie.
What I was gonna say, it's no more a horror movie than Natural Born Killers was.
Right. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, they really took it. They really took a lot of the horror elements out of it, and I think that was literally the best thing he could have done. It proved to be a really smart choice. And I saw 31 with Will a couple years ago, and I really liked it too. Richard Brake became such a breakout for me, literally. No problem. But
you didn't believe in him when he was in Doom? You weren't a huge Blake
I just saw Doom 2 days ago, and I was like, he was probably the best part of Doom as well.
It's pretty good.
And he's
That's
in
the
Three
movie
from
with
Hell.
The Rock, right?
Yeah, he's in with The Rock.
Yeah, I saw Doom in theaters. It was terrible. It's not good.
But the one scene, that's all.
The
Yeah,
very
the-
end of the movie.
The scene with the monkey when he goes, "What was it?" And he goes, "It's a monkey, some kind of monkey." And I was like, "Fuck this movie! It's terrible." So yeah, let's get to talking about it. I feel like we probably will have a lot to say about this movie from all kinds of sides. I think starting with David, you were kind of saying that it paid homage to other movies, and so did Jay, and so did Will. What do you guys, when you were watching this, what other movies did you see the influence from other movies?
I don't think it paid homage. I think it just ripped it off. I think he just fucking was like, oh, I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll make this. Because you're right. He had no script. He had nothing. And they're like, here's a shit ton of money. And he's like, fuck, what do I like? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's make that. And that's all it was. I know there's a fine line between homage and ripping off. And he was like, let me erase that rock line. Let me just fucking erase it and just fucking rip off Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's the only movie I really saw. And then what happens is, you talked about, when they screened it, the original screening doesn't have Dr. Satan and the professor and then that whole thing at the end. And they were like, man, we need to punch it up. And so they were like, here's a shit ton of more money. And they gave him some more money. And I love the practical effects of Dr. Satan.
Oh, yeah.
I love the practical effects of the professor. It's great, but it makes no fucking sense at all. And then did you guys know that there was a deleted scene of the Dr. Satan and what do you call it? The fucking sequel.
Oh, the Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects.
Where he's in a hospital. He's like,
he's in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
But basically, Rob Zombie was like, you know what? That whole thing was a dream sequence. Fuck that.
But
there's no
it's
Dr.
cool
Satan.
because he kills Rosario Dawson in that scene. And it's really badass. I think he rips out her throat or something like that. It was very gory, and she was super excited to be in the movie too. And oh my god, Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Oh Lord. Jay, what were you gonna say though? I saw you were about to say something there.
Me?
I was wrong, man. You looked like you were going like this, and you were holding back for a second.
No, like I could talk about a couple of movies. I think it actually rips off the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre more
in tone. Yeah, definitely.
Well, tone and set. If you remember Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it was home to those big, elegant, like rockabilly, sets, and I think that this one used that more than just about any of them.
You're right, especially.
Why do you think he got Bill Moseley in it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Chop Top himself.
Yeah, he just totally took him from it.
And Bill Moseley owns this movie. No, I'll say he's good. I'll say that Sid Haig owns this movie. Captain Spaulding is why you watch this.
Yeah. Bill Moseley plays 2 roles in it, though.
What was the other one he played? I thought he was playing.
He was the reporter. He was the 7 o'clock news guy in the black and white with the mustache.
Well, that's the thing. I think he's underrated. I think he's really, really, really good. And Otis he feels like he shouldn't be in this movie, especially when he first arrives, but then he slowly falls into it. And like just how redneckish and hillbillyish and over the top he is, and just how he's abusive and stuff. I mean, that's straight from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm not going to lie. Upon watching this with I guess he has a lisp, Otis. He kind of reminded me of Wallace Shawn from Princess Bride, but like hillbillyish and really murdery.
Take.
I didn't notice the lisp. But I will say his opening rant, whenever he's fucking just going off of the cheerleaders about his political beliefs and all kinds of shit, like that was a good little rant that he had there. It was totally nonsensical, and you could buy that this guy is a total psychopath. And he's like, in my mind, I cannot make this work, but.
And that's the thing is in this movie, he has rants that don't make sense. In The Devil's Rejects, it's like the stuff he's saying is like horrific and terrible, but you have to have the rants here to get to the rants there.
Is he in The Devil's Rejects as well?
Oh, yeah, he's amazing, dude. Yes.
That Otis is best Otis.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, he's 100%. So you get the three, there's actually a bunch of characters who return, but mainly it becomes about Captain Spaulding, Otis, and Baby. And those are the 3 main in the second movie. And they're what they need to be. As somebody said earlier, they took the best characters from this. He took the best characters from this and put them in the second movie and used them to perfection. And that when we get there, Ethan, you're going to be like, holy shit, I can't believe this movie came from that movie. Came from The Devil's Rejects came from this movie.
Well, how refreshing is it? How refreshing is it that you got a movie where he listened to all his detractors and made such a phenomenal sequel? How rare is that to see a director actually like take that kind of feedback and go, okay, you're right.
It's shocking.
It wasn't just like something else either, though, about that sequel. He still incorporated what happened in the last movie with it.
Right.
So that I really respected that. I like that. The sheriff who's chasing after him was the Sheriff Wydell's brother, so there's a whole vengeance take on it. At the beginning of the movie, they're still at the Firefly residence. You got Rufus and Tiny and everything else at the beginning. So even though it strays far away, I like that it still kind of goes, hey, this is the movie that was prior.
And it's got Ken Foree in it, so that just bumps it up.
Right, it was great.
But what I like about this movie, on the second watch, and it always kind of stuck with me, it seemed dumb the first time I watched it. And Ethan said earlier, the whole thing could have been just avoided. What were you talking about, Ethan?
So after Dwight Schrute and Legendary and their 2 girls get done with the insane clown posse guy at the gas station, he didn't have to be that annoying about Dr. Satan, but the doctor or Will basically
Captain
told the guy to fuck
Spaulding.
off.
Captain Spaulding.
Well, it's William.
No,
It's Will now. Just roll with it. Anyways, Will just scribbles down the directions to this stupid tree and says, okay, fuck off, get out of here. And it's pouring down rain. Clearly they have somewhere to be because that girl is bitching the whole movie. Oh, we're going to be late. Oh, my dad's going to be worried about us. Oh, we need to go. And this one guy out of 4 people, they're going off this beaten path and inconveniencing their whole trip because of him. All they had to do is just not go to this property, look at all the creepy shit, and just, turn around. Pouring rain. No, don't go.
The trip was to find those creepy.
Yeah, they're
voices.
writing a
like
book.
that was the point of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a blog.
Yeah,
They found their ways along the highway, but this was not advertised as one of those stops.
The
gas station
Ethan,
was.
I see what you're saying because when they went on the haunted house ride inside the gas station, which I thought was fucking cool as shit.
Yes.
I love that they actually used real serial killers.
Yes.
What's his face? Fish.
Albert Fish.
Albert
Then
Fish.
they had
That was
Ed
so
Gein,
great.
of course.
Yeah.
After that, and then
Ed Gein.
Dr. Satan.
The way that he sold Dr. Satan seemed like a real killer, though.
Yeah,
like
it was really good.
Spaulding sold that.
But
He did.
you're right, Ethan. That should have been enough for them. That should have been enough, and they should have moved on. But that's what happens when you have a game show host who's trying to be an actor. And that move, that's. I tell you what, this movie really was like. This is why Chris Hardwick is a game show host.
He
This
definitely
is-
got singled out.
Oh, nicely done.
zing!
Very nice. You thought he
Nailed
was
it.
bad? I thought he was good in retrospect.
No,
Actually,
I maybe it's just because I hate his comedy. I don't know.
I thought he was
Aw.
hilarious.
See, I
Okay.
like him. I like the Nerdist. I love the podcast. I think what he did at the beginning of podcasting with the Nerdist is amazing. And whenever he
Yes.
got accused of sexual, I was like, bullshit. This guy, I don't think there's no way. But the point is, I like Chris Hardwick. I didn't think he would be a good actor, but going back and watching this, chubby Chris Hardwick was pretty good in this movie. Rainn Wilson, even more so. Like, he did a really, really good job.
Yeah,
And I remember when I
good
watched
job.
this when I was younger, like, he was the standout of, like, the people would be murdered.
Apparently, there's a really, really violent shot of him being turned into Fish Boy, but they lost all the originals. Like, there's an uncut version of House of a Thousand Corpses, which is like brutal. But Rob Zombie's like, it's lost. They don't know where it is.
Damn, man.
That's it. Good, Jake. What were we going to say?
I was going to say, I was wondering about that also. You were talking about all the actors in it. Did y'all notice how much weight David Cross put on to play Goober?
What? That was David
The liquor
Cross?
store. Look just like him. Sorry. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's
no,
cool.
what I was
I mean, I
really
love
going to ask.
Goober.
It's
What I was really going to
G-Ober.
ask, though.
They just put the O there later.
I digress. Never mind. Go on ahead.
No, what were you going to
Funny.
say?
What was that? What was that? I love. What was the name of the liquor store? Pussy Liquor or Hot Liquor?
Oh,
Liquor?
Red
Pussy
Hot
Lickers, Red
Pussy
Hot
Liquor.
Lickers.
Yes, and there's a song on the soundtrack
Yes.
that I fucking love. That's my favorite.
That's the song they're playing when they walked into it. She's got the jeans with their ass cut out.
All right, let's talk about Sherry Moon Zombie.
Oh, I'm in.
Smoking hot. David's totally in. He jerked off like 15 times there. Rob Zombie knows how to frame his wife in a shot. And I know I said that in a weird way because she's so
No,
hot.
he didn't.
It's so
It's
hot.
perfect.
Now, does
He's a
anyone
voyeur.
else remember that there was a porno she did that disappeared after they got married? Does anyone else remember this war? You never heard about this? So supposedly Sherry Moon Zombie did, well, before she was zombie at the end,
Will's looking it up right now.
she did a
on the
porn.
dark web.
Rob Zombie, with his riches, was able to make this thing disappear, so he could be the cuck in this situation and show every angle of his wife. But god damn it, so hot, so freaking hot. Javi, why are you giving me that face? You were wrong, good sir. Why do you not think this woman is attractive?
It's just my face. What, I can't have a face?
No,
have many
I know what that
faces.
look was because I know you, and you're just like, ew. What? You
I
don't find
was like,
you don't find this woman attractive? Are you kidding me?
No, he's not. So
Yeah.
just move on.
Yeah.
She's not thick enough.
This whole family, though, overall is just fucking weird. I mean, this is clearly their movie, except for Captain Spaulding. But
Yeah.
it's just a weird bunch of characters, man.
Don't
You've
know.
got the fucking Witcher, Wolfman, James Franco, Dolly Parton, Alexis Texas, and then Slot's weird like disability
Alexis
brother
Texas.
Sleuth. Like, what the fuck?
All right, everyone give him kudos for the Alexis Texas. If you don't know who that is, you
I
probably
know who it
don't.
is.
Yeah, I do too.
I caught
And
that
I also
name.
know what kind of porn Ethan's into now.
Yeah,
because of
exactly.
I know what you're watching, good sir. No, the Firefly family is freaking awesome, and the lore behind them gets even better. And what you don't know is Captain Spaulding has an even better connection to these people than you would expect. So they kind of explore that in the second movie. But that, for me, is like this family, you're right, they are the anti-heroes. And why do we love these murderous, rapist, crazy lunatics? I don't know why. But everyone, these characters became so alive in people's imaginations that they do love them, to the point where some people will dress up like them. I don't know what they're doing thing, but like Spaulding.
Some people actually kill some people after dressing up like them.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end.
I have something to say. I don't think that there was any. I don't know that there was compassion built in this first movie for those people. They were just the murder family. It was the next one when they became the victim that people started to really, what's the word?
Sympathize with them.
They're horrible
sympathize.
people.
Yeah.
Throughout this
I
whole
don't
movie,
feel
they're
that
terrible.
this movie doesn't create any compassion for those guys. They're just crazy lunatics.
The only person was Tiny, and that was because he is just a humble giant throughout that one scene right there.
Yeah, no, totally. I was laughing at Will.
He let her go from the bed. She's
just
begging
eating
him
the
for
cereal.
it. Just
She
like,
wanted to
go
go.
ahead.
All right.
Yeah,
He's like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to do this. Yeah. My
Creepy
dad
hand.
burned me while I was asleep, man. Come on. Yeah, I know what this is like.
I never realized that the professor at the end was his father, Earl Firefly. I never put that together until today.
For some reason, I was always thinking Dr. Satan was dad because he looks like an older version of Otis.
Right.
But
I thought
then
the same thing.
the flashbacks show the professor going in and dousing the whole place with gasoline. And it's like, oh, well, he's Earl then.
Yeah. And Mama Firefly is a whore, obviously, because Earl is the father of some of those children. And spoilers, Ethan, Captain Spaulding's the father of some of the other children. So, just so you know, I think Otis.
Spaulding
I don't really know
busy.
who's. I guess Tiny is Earl's kid, and then Baby and Otis, and the other big wrestler guy brother. I don't know his name.
Rufus.
Yeah, I guess those are Spaulding's children. Or I don't know. But it is all about the family and the house. To a bigger point, this movie is a haunted house come to life. Go ahead, Jake. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, I think Captain Spaulding is Baby's dad, but not Otis's dad. I think Dr. Satan might actually be his dad.
I mean, she was putting it out, obviously. She was whoring it up like crazy. Like, she says to the Nerdist, like, we could have made it work. Like, I don't think anyone cares.
He constantly talks shit to Captain Spaulding. And he even whenever Captain Spaulding was around, he's like, that fucking old piece of shit still selling his lies at that goddamn gas station or whatever else. Like he was the stepdad that he never wanted.
Maybe. And they do have a very contentious relationship in the second movie where they're like at each other's throats. But this whole family kind of has that. But also, like I was saying, like the house is alive. That is another thing I really like about this movie. And it's a haunted house come to life. And they do kind of set it up in a unique way where they begin from the beginning, where they kind of go into this cheesy haunted house, what you would imagine is a haunted house. And where the idea of this movie kind of came from is Rob Zombie was working for Universal Parks building their yearly haunted house. And he called it House of 1,000 Corpses. And so to kind of incorporate that into this movie, in retrospect, I think is kind of cool. And to slow build that too, where you get to the end, even though that ending is shit, where you go from it being a haunted house to kind of being a real labyrinth underground. But what's the story with all these extra creatures that jump out of nowhere? Like whenever she's in the basement with Tiny and she goes to escape and he throws her in a cage and all of a sudden 3 girls just fucking ambush her. And then the mud people and then the people in the catacombs. What's the story? Is that extended family? Are these people that have survived? Like,
I think it's just victims. Because you have to watch the second one, but in the second one, in the very beginning, you see there's tons of cages full of people. There's tons of girls, locked up, and that's just kind of what the whole house is. The whole house is a lockdown of victims. Some get immediately murdered. Some get sacrificed to these mud people that are down there, and it's just a horror house.
Well, they sent him down to Dr. Satan to perform his wicked surgeries on
lobotomies.
Yeah, like everything else, he's just making freaks and shit like that.
That's exactly what it is. It's his victims. He's trying to create. They say at one point he's trying to create superhumans or something like that. But I hadn't even thought about that. He's probably lobotomized thousands of people, and they probably murdered thousands more. What are you thinking, Jay?
No, definitely. I think that I think they might be numbers 236, 438, and 516 of the 1,000 corpses. I mean, they're
Right.
Gotcha. No, but I think that yeah, it's really, they actually got a pretty decent assembly line of what they're planning on doing. Like, they actually have a pretty decent routine going of, you know, creating victims, sending them to him so he can do his experiments. A lot of times it doesn't work, does it ever really work? And so they just got to keep trying. And so then, like, yeah, and then once they threw a little cog in the wheel, all of a sudden it was like, okay, where are we gonna go with this now? The house is gone. So I think that's, you know, where we're like, let's go on the road. And that's where Devil's Rejects really, you know, chimed in.
I know, and it's so hard for us to talk about this movie without bringing up the Devil's Rejects because, like I said, this builds the foundation that goes into a movie that expands upon the lore and makes them more interesting. You know, Will just said that, you know, like our empathy or sympathy or why we like these characters really comes in the second movie. And it does. I guess there's a lot here, like Jake said earlier, that plays into the second movie and just makes it better. And when you go back, they seem like two parts of a whole that are completely different. I haven't watched the third movie yet. We tried watching it and we got 10 minutes in. We were like, fuck this. But Javi, how do you feel about the movie? You know, like, do you think it's scary? Do you think it's good at all? Or like, is there anything in it that you liked at all?
I didn't like this movie. Upon a second rewatch, like fucking damn near 15 years later, it's like, no, this did not hold up well. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
How about as somebody who likes artistic stuff, like how about using the lens or like the filters from 1993 on it, like the
I did feel like it was just like a 90-minute version of More Human Than Human video. That's all I felt it was.
Right.
Especially with like the Spice Channel filter that he used sometimes. It was just kind of like
flipping the shots to like negative instead of their actual color.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of cool looking, but it didn't really add anything.
That's how I used to watch porn back in the day.
Fucking negative?
You go to the blurred out Spice Channel, it was negative type shit. Like, oh, that's a boob, I think.
That's a tit. That's a tit.
No, that's
definitely a tit right there. I can see it.
Okay.
That's a clit.
That explains my elbow fetish after all these years.
You know what? I like porn that's done in snow. That's what I find. That like
Yeah.
blur it out just a little bit. But that's the thing. It's weird. I feel like if you cut out all that little shit and maybe you left in the 8mm stuff, it would work better. Maybe as a grindhouse. But I felt like he was. But once again, he's doing this at the tail end of the '90s, and he was a music video director for a long time, so you got to use those. But I'm so happy he got rid of all that shit pretty quick. He got it out of his system. He saw it didn't work, and his later films, he's never returned to any of that.
He literally made a video for Boogeyman or Brick House by Lionel Richie and the Commodores.
Did he really?
Like, no, I'm just saying, in that movie he did, the callback scenes where they're fucking torturing Dwight Schrute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ray
Oh,
Wilson.
yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just like, that was every little cut scene like that. Whenever they finished the Halloween dinner and the grandpa stands up, he's like, "It's showtime!"
Yeah.
That fucking.
I did kind of like his
Fucking-
stand-up,
That shit was dope, though. Yeah, you and Chris Hardwick were the only ones.
I know. Hey, I was
Eat
like,
your mother's pussy.
it was my kind of stand-up. I thought he was.
I didn't. I loved it, but I didn't understand what the hell was going on. So.
Well, that's
I was waiting for someone to give him the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was back there, dude.
His follow-up act was even better. Ethan, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no. I was laughing along with them about get this guy off the fucking stage, man.
I mean, the feature act or the headliner is way better. How about the choice of music, though? Like, I did like that. You know, traditionally where you would do one thing in a horror movie where you build suspense, he used music over those scenes. I don't think most people would have made those choices. How did you guys feel about that? If any thoughts on that?
I'll go first.
Yeah, good.
How about that? Whenever he is lining up to kill Walton Goggins.
Walter Goggins!
Yeah, so they're playing that song by Slim Whitman. I'll tell them I remember you or whatever. But that slow take, and he stands there with the pistol forever, and it's just this long fucking draw away shot, and then finally, pow! I love that shit.
cool.
That was good. Yeah, that was fucking dope.
Would have been
That was
better
a really
if it
nice
wasn't.
artistic choice.
Yeah, if it wasn't in slow motion, that's the only thing that bothered me about it. I feel like he saw the opportunity in editing to do that, which I like because when you think it's going to happen, it doesn't. And when you think it's going to happen, it doesn't. And when you think it's going to happen, it doesn't. When it finally happens, but then it does a weird transition to like the horizon. I was like, fuck, like you lost it. But like I said, this is his first film. But I really did like that. There's two shots in this movie I felt were cinematic. That one and the second shot where she comes out of the catacombs and goes into it and see the bone chandelier up there. And the first thing I was thinking, the Goonies. But like that was very cinematic. When right before she goes into Dr. Satan's lair, I thought that was pretty cool. Go ahead, Ethan.
That's kind of one of the things I wanted to touch on is that little temple they've got down there built for Dr. Satan's laboratory. That and the gas station are the two most interesting parts of this movie, and it just really sucks that it's right at the beginning, right at the end, and there's not a whole lot that really hooked me in the middle.
See,
I want to know more about the fucking temple. I want to know more about the lab and some of the weird shit he's doing down there. And there's actually like thousands and thousands of corpses down there, unlike at the house. It's just a bunch of junk and baby dolls stapled to the wall.
There's nothing wrong
No
with that.
offense, David.
That's yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
No offense, David.
No, nothing wrong at all.
Yeah. Watch yourself, Ethan. Watch yourself.
But this movie advertises
agree.
corpses, not baby
I
dolls.
agree with Ian that to me the
Ian?
coolest scene was
That's Ethan.
Sorry, Ethan.
He's fired.
He's out. I think he was fucking with you, Ethan.
My nephew's name is Ian.
Also, you were fucking with him because he said "fuck baby dolls." That's why.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David.
Dr. Satan is so fucking cool. It's such a neat character. The things connected to him that are hanging from the ceiling. I would have loved to have seen more Dr. Satan.
Doesn't it appear that like this movie, knowing what we know now and knowing what Rob Zombie knows, wouldn't this be like the absolute perfect movie to have a prequel? Like to actually show like how they actually got all this together. I just think it's really smart.
Young Dr. Satan.
The origins
Absolutely.
of Dr. Satan.
Yeah.
And then they can take all those parts that we think are the best parts of the movie, and they can actually expound on that. And I think that I'm surprised he's never even thought about doing that.
Well, he's come out and said that he now views Dr. Satan as that girl's imagination. He doesn't even he views that whole thing as her going insane. So he just doesn't even view that Dr. Satan as a real thing anymore.
There's more than one Dr. Satan?
Well, you have the Dr. Satan of the lore, and then you have the Dr. Satan that actually shows up. So Rob Zombie's idea is that he thinks it's in her mind because she was told about Dr. Satan on the haunted house ride at the beginning of the movie, and that she makes all that stuff up in her head when she's going insane and like basically going crazy at the end, because he doesn't like that whole ending at all.
No,
imagine everybody with a Dr. Satan tattoo whenever they heard that. They're like,
rubbing it off.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is when I was younger, Ian, I should say, just said, sorry, Ethan just said that, he likes the beginning, he likes the end. I'll say the first 20 minutes of this movie, fucking killer. And I remember the fish boy being actually in that part of it, like, and really being, but that doesn't happen to halfway through. The house stuff I like too. I mean, obviously he's taking a lot from Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the house stuff. And then the labyrinth stuff is Texas Chainsaw Massacre too, because if you watch that, it's way better. But when I was a kid, I hated it because I remember thinking, fuck this Alice in Wonderland bullshit. She's a rabbit. She went down the rabbit hole. Now she's Alice. Look at her adventure. I was like, I hate all this shit. So to hear the fact that Rob Zombie hated it as much as me makes me so happy. Now, with the second watch, I don't hate it as much. I actually thought it was okay. It wasn't as long as I remember it being. I think I was really high the first time I watched it. It's the reason I didn't like it so much, because I was like, what a drag of a fucking movie. But, I mean, I don't see how you could look at that and say it was fantasy. It's like, was she stuck in the casket with the Nerdist? Is that why? So I think she kind of has to go down that corridor. I guess I could say I could see the ending where she gets back in the chair, but, I mean, the whole movie is just kind of all over the fucking place.
That doesn't explain the beginning with the murder ride whenever Captain Spaulding talked about Dr. Satan on the murder ride then. So it's just all a dream from that point, and she just
No. What I was saying, Jacob, was that she, at the beginning part, there is a Dr. Satan, but what she runs into...
She didn't actually encounter him.
She didn't actually encounter him. That was just her mind going crazy and then taking what she saw on the ride and making it. Honestly, I think
that explains why he looks like Otis, though, also.
Yeah.
Like that he's got the long white hair and shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
True.
Go back. I'm sorry.
No, dude, you're right. When you said that before, I actually considered, like, is that Otis again? Like, then I was like, it can't be. He's too thin. He's like the pale man thin from anything that Doug Jones is involved with Guillermo del Toro. Like that, it's just scary. It looked like a puppet at some points. But I will
think
say,
we also have to realize. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think we also have to realize that Rob Zombie's just making shit up in this movie.
You're right.
I think we're putting a lot more into it
right.
than he ever did. Because I think he was just like, it'd be cool. Let's have this, and then this would be cool, and then let's do this. Because, like I said, there was no script. Yeah. I liked this and this and this, and so I think. Yeah.
Well, I know you're right because I watched an interview with Joe Rogan earlier where he talked about they would call the studio and be like, "We're thinking about doing this. What do you think?" And they would just throw money at him. So that's 100% what it was.
There's something to be said about that kind of guerrilla filmmaking where it's like he wanted to do something. He knows music videos, so that's what he made. And he made a movie that he wanted to love. And in the end, maybe he didn't. And obviously he said he didn't like a lot of aspects of it. But there's just something about that, like being, you know what, I can do this and just making it up on the fly. And it stands tall, like for these sort of movies. And it continued a little legacy of these characters. For sure. So I think I like it now more that you guys have talked so much shit about it. Because I'm listening and I'm like, oh no, I like that part. I don't know why
the thing that's nice about it is the fact that they did throw so much money at him. Everything that they threw at him as far as money is on the screen. Like he spent every ounce of money because it looks like it was, there's so much stuff going on visually in this film. The house alone, putting that together, must have been crazy. The lighting was really cool,
I was going to ask you, as somebody who creates and who could do set design very easily, especially for a movie like this, how did you feel about what they put together? Like, it is a little bit slapdash here and there. Is baby dolls on the wall creepy? I don't know. But how did you feel about the stuff they did put together for it in a short amount of time?
I loved it. I thought the gas station and the house looked authentic. The stuff they used, it wasn't cheap looking. It looked real. It looked like they went to like thrift stores and places that I go to and just spent a shit ton of money and bought old shit. But man, in that house, there's not 1 inch that doesn't have shit on it. It's like behind me times 1,000. There's just stuff everywhere. I loved it. I thought the set design was really cool. I liked all that shit.
Well, and it reminded me too of coming from a family of hoarders and having dated a hoarder. It reminded me of that in a lot of ways. Like we were the family with washing machines and shit in the front yard. I hated it. That's why I can't stand clutter now. But I remember that being like a thing, and I remember how creepy that was and how much that bothered other people. It bothered me. But like there is something to that hoarder mentality and like stay off our land, stay off our property, like that really is that's sweet. That really is like creepy to a lot of people, and it was creepy to me. Like there's danger around every corner. You are definitely not getting insurance on this house. I guarantee it.
I liked how each of the rooms kind of felt like the character too.
Right.
Like, Baby says it directly. She's like, "These are my baby dolls," and like you could tell, yes, she did that. So I feel like they kind of thought about what would this character do in their own room, and it just becomes that sort of thing where you're just collecting shit. And you're just leaving it, and it doesn't really matter anymore. You don't even see it anymore because it's just your background.
And you also
did feel like each room had a theme.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you also get the impression they don't go into each other's areas of the house.
That's cool.
What is their area is their area. Because whenever Otis brings down the jar with Leroy, obviously, I don't know if Leroy was like his twin brother, fetus, or whatever it was. You can build more into it. But he hands it to his mom, and she's like, "Oh, my baby, I haven't seen him in so long." So you get the impression, even when Baby says earlier that she does it, she goes, "Well, they're up around here somewhere." So and whenever they divvy out the victims too, it feels like those are their victims to play with. They do not.
That's really cool. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy. Like whenever she said, Tiny's a real lady killer, and then he picks that girl, that's his girl, and then Baby gets the one and Otis gets the one. They kind of divvy them out a little bit, and I thought that was kind of interesting how they did that too. It's in the beginning of the second movie, they kind of play on that a little bit too. And the more we're talking about it, yeah, there's a lot going on, but also it does feel slapdash like they were putting together a haunted house. Have you guys ever worked in a haunted house or put one together or anything like that? I did it one time, and the creativity of just being like, okay, we have this blank room, we have this here, how do we use it? How do we make it scary? So you have to use what's available. Like you were saying, David, about going thrift shopping. you find stuff and you go, how can I use this later? Like you throw shit together and create something out of it. And so, yeah, having, working on it and then 2 months later, they're actually making the movie, maybe, I mean, that's realistically what he did. He's just like, I'm going to throw this together and see what I can do. Did it scare anyone though, is the question. No? No one?
No.
No one? Didn't unsettle anyone at all? Really?
Not even startled. No.
Really? It unsettled me because of how janky the camera was. That kind of freaked me out.
The
You know,
little,
it's,
like,
it's,
19...
it's we watched my first time on here. We watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. To this day, it's still, from watching it with you guys, it's still, every now and then I think about it and I get creeped out by it. It's still unsettling to me. This movie, nothing about it at all. It's just parts of it are just really cool looking.
Right.
I think the best jump scare was at the very
Hey guys,
beginning.
I gotta go for a second.
Okay.
Sure thing.
I think the best jump scare was at the
Come on.
beginning whenever Sherry Moon Zombie scared Rainn Wilson at the front of the house. That was the best jump scare throughout the whole movie, and that doesn't say much at all. But whenever they first arrived there, she's like, these are the dolls. I chop off their heads and arms, and I put them on the walls. Oh, the door's locked. They're going to walk around. Just wait here. And then, you scared the shit out of me. That was the only jump scare, but it wasn't even a real jump scare.
I mean, her voice alone. I mean, her voice is so fucking... Oh, my God. But still, so hot. Doesn't matter. It's just so...
Right.
I think it's supposed to be grating like that because I don't think that's her normal voice. I think that was a character choice for her with that. But God damn it, so hot. So fine.
You know what-
Javi, you're wrong.
You know what I can really respect about this one is the fact that Rob Zombie saw Sid Haig, a character actor for decades, and goes, you know what? I'm going to make you a star. And he took this guy. Tell me your favorite Sid Haig movie before this one.
1980.
Jackie Brown.
THX, what is it? What is the Lucas movie?
1187.
Yeah.
1138?
Yeah, he was in that. That's all I remember. I don't know. He was a character actor. You're right. And he gave him a character that, like,
He played
killed
the
it.
judge in Jackie Brown.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
And he was your favorite part of that movie. I
No,
bet.
he wasn't, but he was also in Kill Bill as the bartender.
And that's the thing is he's a character actor.
Kill Bill came out. Kill Bill came out after this.
I know, but I'm saying I think that actually propelled him because Quentin Tarantino is a fan of zombies. Zombie's a fan of Tarantino. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's probably got hundreds. Yeah, I'm looking right now. He's got a lot of credits as a character actor. And this movie is full of character actors, even down to Walter Goggins, who's like a character actor now. That's huge. You know what I mean? Like Walton. I apologize. But
Or
that's
just
the
Walt
thing
for
is
short.
he everyone, no one in this movie is famous or they've always.
I would disagree.
Who?
Karen Black.
Karen Black.
Scream
Yeah.
Queen. Scream
Karen
Queen.
Black.
Oh, what
Huge name.
else? I was wondering that's the horror
Trilogy of
mother,
Terror.
correct?
Trilogy of Terror.
She
One of
was
the
in the
most-
trilogy.
She was the Trilogy of Terror.
That's right. She did all three of them. She had the
All
little
four.
demon.
She had 4 roles.
Oh,
Four
but the
roles.
little demon came after. That's all I
Yeah.
remember. The little doll. Like that shit is
You
still
know-
scary to this day.
Who played her character in Devil's Rejects?
Yeah, they recasted her. Who was it?
Leslie Easterbrook, or I guess
Callahan.
Lieutenant Callahan from Police Academy. Yes,
Nice.
she was so hot.
Talk is cheap.
Yes, it is.
Well, guys, I mean, is there anything else about the movie specifically, though? I think we're all kind of on board in saying it's meh, but it builds the foundation for a way better movie in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean-
I agree. I mean, it's a good start off point, jump off point for Rob Zombie, and just being given free will to do whatever, you know.
and I
Say,
mean,
take this money and just try to create something, and then he learned from what he did wrong, and then he repeated that shit later on down in his career. But the next one, his next outing was, I would say, supreme.
yeah,
I'll
it's-
tell you how good Devil's Rejects is. A lot of you guys know Jeff Sewell, Kiki Lala Peaches. He hates.
My brother.
Yeah, he hates.
Come on, Peaches.
He hates horror movies, and he says The Devil's Rejects is pretty fucking cool.
Not
Yeah.
a horror movie.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
consider
exactly.
it a horror movie.
Exactly. It's not.
I feel like I'm missing out having not seen Devil's Rejects.
bro, don't
Yeah,
wait
it's
till
not-
we
Y'all are
watch it.
talking up the sequel to this movie. This whole cast.
You
Yeah,
I'm
just
just over
go
here
watch
like,
it.
all
Just
these
go watch
characters
it.
are assholes. They're horrible people, and you're telling me y'all sympathize with these motherfuckers?
We like
Didn't
them.
sympathize.
I'm missing something out. I'm missing something here.
No, but I legit
kind of
like
like
them.
ended up rooting for them.
Yeah, Yeah, especially at the end of
Underdogs.
the second movie. Yeah.
Anti-heroes.
It's
Really?
weird. It's like going back and watching like the Muppet Babies version or something. Like I don't know. Like you get on board with them at the end of it because you watch the second movie. You should don't wait until we do it on here. Just go watch The Devil's Rejects. You know what we're talking about.
I don't know. Kind of this being the first time of seeing these movies has kind of been my thing so far. So I don't know.
Man. But I mean, honestly, let's say recommendations. I don't recommend this. I hope I never have to watch this again, but I will definitely now watch the second one, and I'm going to give the third one a watch, even though I don't think it's that good from what I've seen, but I'm intrigued by it. How about you, Will? What do you think? Watch it or don't watch it for the first one?
No, I would always recommend this movie. It's still a fun movie. It's if you compare it to other ones that he's done, no, it's not the best, but I will always recommend watching this movie because it's wacky, it's ridiculous, and it's it's an hour and a half of a crazy music video.
You're right. It is. There's some stuff in it. The first 20 minutes at least. First 20 minutes is killer. I really like it. Jake, what do you think? Recommend or no?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't say much more than I think Will pretty much nailed it. Just good fun. Little dumb slasher fucking popcorn flick. I mean, it's not even very many scares. I do have questions about Otis. Does he have like prehistoric fish parts laying around, or does he just have a shit ton of paper-mache?
Fish Boy's the
but
shit.
It doesn't matter at the point.
Yeah,
How much do you think they blew to turn Dwight Schrute into Fish Boy?
dude, Fish Boy's
That
my
did not
favorite
look
part of
cheap.
this movie.
Dude,
Fish Boy is awesome.
if he would have gone as Fish Boy on a Halloween episode of The Office, that would have been the fucking
Would have been
tits.
perfect.
That would have been
Oh,
so
yeah.
great.
You know what? I changed my mind. You know what? Watch this movie just for Fish Boy because Fish
Just
Boy
for that.
stays with you. That is one of the best reveals ever.
And for
Jess-
Dr. Satan!
Dr. Satan! Jessup, what do you think? You recommend this movie? Or no?
I mean, I think you can recommend it with caveats like, hey, this isn't scary, but it's really visual, and Sharon Moon's fucking awesome, and Otis is great, and Will is really good in it, and Dr.
Will, you
Satan.
did kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr.
Later, brother.
Satan. So
100%.
yeah, I mean, I think if you tell people like, hey, this isn't really good, but it's got some really cool parts. It's very visual. It's an easy watch. It's a fun watch, and there's some the characters in it are great. 3 characters are really good, and Dr. Satan. So
Jay, what-
Jessup, I was gonna say, Jessup, that's kind of how you explained Mandy to me, and I fucking love that movie. So
love
yeah.
Mandy.
okay,
Love Mandy.
Jay, what you think? Recommend it or no?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I think you almost kind of have to recommend this movie if you take it as a snapshot of life in 2000. I mean, Rob Zombie owned the late 90s. He got to do whatever he wanted, and this was part of that. I think sometimes we put glasses over it because we're talking about Rainn Wilson because we know him from The Office. We're talking about Chris Hardwick. When we first saw this movie, we're like, oh, it's the guy from Single That, but looking back, we're like, oh, it's the Nerdist, it's the Talking Dead guy, and there's Walt Goggins, Justified, all these different, stories, and S.H.I.E.L.D. But I think that what it was at the time, I think it was, it was Rob Zombie getting to have fun, and I mean that's something I think we could all aspire to, really. And I think it's just cool to see. He made the movie that I think any of us would have made when we were 15 years old.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is it's edgelord the movie once again, which
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with that. And it's a $7 million student film is what it is. And you're right, he did make what you expected Rob Zombie to make. Whether you think it's good or if you think it's bad, it's definitely 100% Rob Zombie. So
I think people will defend this movie. This is one of those movies I think people will defend in the future as a forgotten gem, and people just didn't get it.
We're in the future, bro. All of us were like, oh, it's all right.
Not quite yet.
That's 20 years removed from the production of it.
No.
But definitely recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Javi, what do you think?
Recommend it. Watch it. It's fun. You're not gonna like it, but it's fun. I'll say just like that.
It's like getting a shitty blowjob. Like it's a blowjob. I got
It's still a blowjob, though, bro.
Whatever.
Enjoy it.
Ian Eastonwood.
Ian Eastonwood.
Engineer Ian.
Again, I feel like y'all are all taking this having seen the second one
We are.
in context with it. By itself, on its own merit, no. This movie was a waste of my time. I was sitting there through this whole movie going,
Fair
is
enough.
it over yet? I was checking the timer halfway through, like, God, I have an hour left of this. God, I have 45 minutes left of this. No. I mean, first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, good. You're done.
To be fair to that point, like, I've seen House of a Thousand Corpses way more times than I've seen Devil's Rejects. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, there's still something about this first.
Why do you think that is, Will? Why do you
Because
like
House
this
of a Thousand Corpses is like going into a haunted house ride, right?
Yeah.
Will, isn't it like an attraction, like a haunted house
Exactly.
attraction?
It's a crazy, fun little show.
Yeah, the way it's shot, the visuals, and I really
Visually,
love
it's
that.
stunning.
Yeah,
I
don't
love a lot of these shots.
Yeah, boy, that is so true. You do not have to think.
It's just like, oh, here's this part, here's this part, here's this part, and it just combines and compounds.
It's a great movie to play in the background if you're having a party.
I was going to say that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a background
It doesn't
movie.
make you think at all. It takes care of all that guesswork. It's almost like they have to give you popcorn, like when you watch this movie. Like it just automatically shows up.
Or fried chicken.
I'm not taking one.
I just want to say something real quick. So Universal had it, hated it, told Rob Zombie to fuck off, right? And then now those motherfuckers have a House of a Thousand Corpses, not ride, but haunted house at both of their locations every year for Halloween.
Isn't that irony? Where they
Is he
took
getting paid for it?
the first year he made it, he actually, second or third year he did it, he was actually building it around the movie. So as he was making the movie, he built the haunted house around it, and it was to be called A House of a Thousand Corpses. And then they ditched the movie, and so they changed the name while keeping the characters, I believe, or maybe they changed the name of the characters. And like you said, 15, 20 years later, now every year they have, in both of the Universal parks, this as one of their mainstays. That is hysterical.
Dick moves, man.
How many years have they had it? Like
a long time. I know that Rob Zombie was saying the first year they had it.
What happened, Jay, was the movie started becoming more and more popular.
Cult,
You know, and so as it became more popular, Universal was like, "Hey, we like this now because it can make us money."
Well, on top of that,
though,
this is one of those DVDs, like Javi said earlier. Every single one of us probably owned this DVD at some point, and that's what it is. I mean, Jake, I know you have the DVD or the Blu-ray even right now because you were showing it the other day. So it's just one of those things. Like we're going to do a podcast in the future, and We Are Error about DVDs everyone had. This one, Swordfish, probably Twister, things like that.
Boondock Saints.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Everyone had a certain set of Edge War DVDs that we had when we were younger, and this just falls into one of them. And, you know, like, this is a movie that I guess you hate to love, but we all kind of have fond memories of it, whether it's in retrospect with the second movie or just talking about it now. I was excited to watch it for the first time in, 17 years or whatever it is. So, I mean, yeah, I would recommend it. And I think that other than Ian over there, who said big no to it, I think I think that, you know what? I think it's going to stick with you. You've only just watched it today. This is one of those movies that haunts you in a weird way. And
it's interesting, Ducky, that Ethan earlier, he had mentioned when the batteries drop, which is kind of the thing that we came up with last week from Child's Play, which is that moment in the film that really gets you. And you're right, this movie does not have any batteries dropping.
There was no batteries that got dropped.
No.
Not at all.
Batteries not included.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's the thing is the batteries dropping, I think, is probably one of the most important parts of a good horror film.
Right.
And so the fact that this doesn't have it kind of lends you to believe that this isn't a good horror film.
Well, it's a series of sketches in a big way. Like it is though. Like if you look at it like almost life, the big one I always go to is Monty Python: The Meaning of Life. As a film, it's not good, but the sketches in it individually are pretty good. That's really good.
That's really good. It's almost like an SNL Halloween special.
Right.
We should go back, re-edit the movie with a
MTV
laugh track. Put a
Jake's
laugh
right.
track in the fucking movie, though, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Will,
like on
make it
certain
happen.
scenes, just go back, put a laugh track, and this thing's gonna fucking kill.
It might work though if you think like it's.
I think it would.
Yeah.
I love Will's space work on working on his computer.
I gotta make sure I'm in camera.
I feel so bad for his keyboard.
I feel bad for his dick.
Oh no! All right, guys. With that said, let's get
The
the
weirdest
clips.
way to
We got a
jerk
couple
off.
of comments. To get
Oh
through
yeah,
first.
yeah. I forgot.
So,
He's on the internet doing it.
Wormsworth 114 says,
What's up,
"What's the
Wormsworth?
first movie to use one actor to be multiple characters in a single movie, i.e., Walton Grog or Kill Bill?" And then they followed that up with, "I meant Mosley as the anchor and Otis."
I think that
Karen Black playing 3 roles in Trilogy of Terror.
Trilogy of Terror. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I think that's true because she plays a different character in each segment of that movie, and that movie, she's like big time. Like she kills it. Like what is it? Orphan Black now, where the one lady plays like 16 different characters. Like every character she plays in that trilogy is different. It feels different and is really good.
Did you guys
Good.
forget about Tracy Ullman?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Tracy
yeah.
Ullman did.
Jessica's got a vote.
Do you guys remember it was in the 60s called The Illustrated Man?
Mm-mm.
And it was based on, you know what I'm talking about, Jacob?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know what
Okay.
you're talking about.
It was, forget the author, but it's like a science fiction author. But the movie had the same actor playing different roles. It was like an anthology, but it was the same actor playing different
It
roles
was
in each one.
a latter day Eddie Murphy in the clumps or
The
Coming
best
to America.
version, though.
It was almost like Peter Sellers in Doctor Strangelove.
Yes.
Haley Mills, The Parent Trap.
Yeah.
That's
Do
a
you want to
deep
get
cut,
through
Jake.
here?
What you got? Ethan?
Floydian. Yeah,
Nice.
Floydian 1153. They also comment Being John Malkovich, Austin Powers, and then before that they said in regards to 1,000 Corpses, they saw it once, thought it was great. Nah, you're wrong, fam.
But we appreciate you
Good for them,
commenting.
man. Yeah,
Love the
have your
comment,
own
but-
opinion on this
Yeah, come on,
Nah.
come
Nah,
on.
it
Come on,
ain't
get
good.
some love. Get some love. Anyone else there in the comments, man? We appreciate everyone who
Yeah.
chimed in. We didn't really look, but I
Well,
appreciate
what
it.
was
Yeah,
their
no.
favorite parts of this movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely interested.
If
Yeah.
We'll kind of chime in. I think we're about to get into clips here shortly, but I'll kind of interrupt if y'all got favorite moments. Go ahead and drop them in the chat.
No. Who just asked us those questions?
That's
was
what
their
he was
favorite
saying.
parts of
Yeah.
this?
Typing it out.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
typing
okay,
it out.
I got you.
All right, ready?
Unless they left because Ethan just blew them out.
Yeah, what the fuck was that, Ethan?
I'm sorry. Please come back.
You're here to engineer. We don't need your opinion.
No. Always.
No one ever comes to an engineer for their personality.
Well, did you have your own grease paint set away, or did you have to break into like Katie's makeup kit to
No,
get this
yeah,
done?
I have a set of clown makeup.
I know you do, yeah.
Let's talk about
I
that.
didn't know if you've already used it.
Let's
from
talk
the last
about that
concert.
briefly, though.
Are we going dark? Are we going
Yeah,
dark
let's
now?
talk about it
Okay,
real
let's
quick
get it.
because it's
Okay.
so weird.
Here we
And
go.
I don't
Here we
know,
go.
Jay. It's your choice on how much.
This
we
is
get into
like
detail,
Will.
though.
This is pretty much me and Will's story.
Bye, Jake.
Where'd he go? We lost you. Jake just
All right,
dipped.
hold
He was
up,
like, I ain't
hold
talking
up.
about this.
Hold up. Oh, my God.
What'd they say?
No, I'm back.
So Wormsworth said stinks. Okay.
It
Floydian.
stinks.
By the way,
Floydian said,
Wormsworth is
Sherman.
Greg, just so y'all know.
Hold up.
That's Grego, by the way.
Okay,
Wormsworth is
Grego. Dude, Floydian. I think the reason you guys didn't like it is because you're all rednecks, and the movie portrayed rednecks as scary murderers.
I would agree
I'm
with
from New
that.
York.
Fair
Yeah.
point, actually.
That guy can go fuck himself.
I'm from
My
Florida.
mustache, isn't it?
I'm
Oh,
from
dude,
Dallas.
I
I
agree.
grew up on a public golf course. Trust me.
Jacob, son.
You grew up on a public golf course?
Okay, go.
I'm from Plano. Trust me.
Hashtag bragging.
We get our own stereotypes that are just as bad as being rednecks.
To be fair, I did grow up in the mountains of Appalachia, and yes, I'm a hillbilly. So,
Appalachian American, right?
Are you a Yinzer? Are you a Yinzer, Doug?
I'm a total Yinzer, bro. I'm from fucking Western PA. Where Yin's going? What are we talking about? You guys got some pop?
Yinza.
It's
You got some
pop right here.
Yinglings?
Yeah.
Floydian.
Oh,
That
I
was
do love me a
fucking
Yingling, though.
Ha. That
Nicely
was
done.
comedy gold.
That
except
was
for
not covered. That was highly
Javi hated it.
inaccurate. That
Javi
was
hated
so
it.
fucked up, bro.
Hobby.
Oh,
hater.
Hobbs. Oh, Hobbs.
All right, let's clip it up, boys. Let's go.
Fucking eraser head Javi over there.
Love it, man.
I do love it.
Hey everyone, it's just Duck jumping in here real quick to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And just so you know, the next section of the podcast will be clips from the movie, so you can find replays of the live video stream at twitch.tv/We Are Podcast Network and youtube.com/We Are Podcast Network. Once again, all links can be found in the description. Come check out our live stream every Monday at 8 p.m. And for a full list of future films, check out our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. And with that, back to the Horrorcast.
All right, here we go. Okay, so first clip, the retard speech. And you know what? I am
Now, I can't get rid of this. It ain't worth nothing. My name's all over it. I was fixing the Jackie Cobb.
Retard that hangs out at Molly's fruit stand?
Yeah.
You know, for the life of me, I cannot understand why you hang out with that asshole.
He's one.
I love that guy in Scrooged.
What's that actor's name again?
I forget what he is, but I know him from Scrooged also and Tango and Cash.
Okay, you ready for this? Y'all remember? Did y'all remember that 20 UPN Paramount show Superboy?
Yeah.
He played Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Oh, he would be killer at that. Fuck yeah.
Well, he was. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally was. He was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like Michael. I think his first name's Michael.
Well, they tell all they want to do is eat and fuck.
Dude, fuck.
Oh, dude, they fuck.
I mean, that's a good speech. Spalding, don't give a fuck. Motherfucker don't care.
Y'all get the fuck out of here. Clowny, keep your paws where I can see. Yeah, don't move.
Love it.
The fuck is that supposed to mean? You miserable motherfucker. I ought to jump over this counter and bash your fucking balls in. Well, I'll tell you what, Ski King. Why don't you just take your mama home some chicken, and then I won't have to stuff my boot all up in your ass. Most of all, fuck you. Fuck your mama. Motherfucker, got blood all over my best clown suit.
All right.
Laugh.
That was pod racing.
Yeah. That shit was wizard as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, totally creepy. So yeah, we knew somebody who dressed up unlike Will, like Captain Spaulding, and he came to work and he was creepy and weird. I don't know how to say it, and he went on to kill somebody. And
oh my god, I forgot about
literally,
that.
He literally murdered his roommate.
Murdered
and tried to cover it up for like 2 days.
Yep.
He had 3 first names.
Ethan,
also.
we worked with him.
I'm just gonna make that
It was
clear.
him. I didn't realize that he dressed up as Spalding, but yes, I know exactly.
We had to postpone our Christmas party a month.
Fucker.
A month. Because we were like, I don't know how this is gonna go down.
The whole time I was doing this makeup, I was thinking about that man.
Oh, I know. You had to have. I can't think about Captain Spaulding.
He was just creepy too.
It's sad that you weren't actually thinking about Captain Spaulding. Spaulding. You're thinking about the actual person who wore the Captain Spaulding.
Yeah. So what did his? I guess my question is, what did the roommate do to deserve getting killed?
They were
Nothing.
just like horse playing or something, and apparently
he said he didn't want him to leave, and he shot him once, and he was scared that he was gonna tell, or he didn't want him to like suffer, so he had to shoot him in the head. Like he double tapped.
So what it was is Jeff was
killing.
They were roommates,
Ain't no
and
mercy
Jeff
in that.
was coming home late at night. He worked like a job at Applebee's or something like that, and he had a severe drinking and drug problem. Came home late at night. His roommate had a daughter that he was trying to get custody of. The guy was coming home being loud and belligerent all night, and they got into a scuffle. Shot him in the stomach, said he wanted to put him out of his misery because he was laying there moaning. Shot him in the fucking head, and that was it.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, fucking nuts. And we fucking worked with this guy. We talked to him on a daily basis.
And like come into the box office with me and Hobby and chat us up every now and then.
Yeah.
And he came to work dressed like Captain Spaulding, and then shortly a week after that,
it was for Halloween.
2 waitresses,
it wasn't like he just did it.
It was. I know. Yeah. Well, no, it was on a fucking regular Corey Local night.
Yeah,
he
it was
came
a
dressed up
Tuesday.
as fucking Captain Spaulding in a fucking jumpsuit with a chain wallet. No, and the week later, he had a gun in his car, and he invited a couple waitresses over, and he's like, hey, check out my gun. And everybody's like freaked the fuck out after that. And then finally Ted caught wind and was like, hey, we got to let you go. You know, you're scaring people here, I guess. And then shortly, a month or two after that, he's on the news. I get it.
It was about a year and a half later, actually.
Was it really?
It was a while.
It was a little while.
Okay, maybe.
Not that excuses it.
Because I was at Hyenas at that point, but I just, I guess it was about a year. Yeah, that makes sense.
And Jay kept saying, he was like, I keep tabs on him, don't worry, because you were scared.
No, he was my, you know what I'm talking about, Billy Madison, that guy. I always kind of
like
wanted.
you're on the list.
Yeah, well, I just always wanted to like.
Sorry,
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi. See, I think I don't know if any of you guys. I think I'm the one who kind of like spread the news to everybody because I just saw this thing on his Facebook page where everyone just kept calling him a murderer. He had like 45 comments, and he wasn't the most sociable guy, but he had a ton of comments on like something he shared, and I was like, wow, he's getting a lot of hits for this, and I'm like, oh, they're all calling him a murderer.
I wonder what this is about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just Googled his name.
Shit.
I Googled his name, and then all of a sudden, you can find it still. He does an interview and
he does it. Yeah.
He's
Video.
still locked up, too,
did he?
yeah, he committed murder.
Yeah.
So, but did he go to trial though? Did it go to trial?
I think he just admitted it. Yeah.
Okay.
On the newscast, he admits to it, so I'm pretty sure that's
Oh, yeah, he's never getting out.
Well, how much time did he
cried
get?
with
Will,
no
can you
tears.
find out? Will, can you find out how much time he got?
Give him one of those. Immediately gets on it. But yeah,
it's just porn.
Yeah. Very new zombie. All right, let's move on.
Blink and look away.
Well, that was a tangent we went off on.
No, it needed to be done.
Tangent.
Well, Will really he brought back some dark memories.
Freaking awesome.
On with the clips.
All right.
Yeah.
Country folks.
I love this place. How long you been running this place?
Well, how long's a piece of string?
I don't know.
Too goddamn long. That's how long.
Too goddamn long. That's right. Right, I hear that.
Let me ask you something. How come you asking so many jackassy questions? I know what your problem is.
What's that?
Y'all think us folks from the country's real funny like, don't you?
Jerry?
Yeah, well, saddle up the mule, Ma. Slide me some grits. I's got to get me some education.
Jerry.
You asshole.
No, I'm very interested. I'm not trying to make fun.
Gotcha.
You are such a bad clown.
Oh,
Such a bad
Sally, who the hell want to read about all this horse shit anyway?
I love it.
One of the things I noticed that I wanted to bring up and I forgot on that part when he says like what kind of questions, he looks directly into the camera.
Oh, does he?
Looks at the guy. Yeah, there's like half a second where he's like, "What kind of questions?"
To me, I thought it seemed awfully flirty. Like fucking Rainn Wilson was flirting with Captain Spaulding the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, spaceman,
Maybe
pew
get some
pew, like yeah,
chicken.
yeah.
He kills it. Like I said, I wanted to clip this earlier. I just want to clip his shit because it's.
Well, how long's a piece of string?
All right, I gotta see it.
Yeah, let's see if he.
Too goddamn long. That's how long.
Too goddamn long. That's right. Right, I hear that.
Let me ask you something. How come you asking jackassy questions?
He said it. Let me ask you something.
If you guys ever go to if you ever go to Curiosities in Dallas, there's 2 locations where I sell my artwork. That's what Curiosities looks like.
Oh, it's fucking bad.
Nice.
They give you fried chicken on the way out?
No,
God
it's in Lakewood.
Be a
They don't
lot
have
cooler
fries.
if they did.
I ain't going.
Hard pass.
I need to go if Will's there at the front, and he's like, "I need to ask you something." Why? Yeah. I love Captain Spaulding.
So
I think
many
this is the
jackasses.
last
Yeah,
clip
he's
I got
good.
of him.
He's the best part of this movie.
Last
for
clip
sure.
I've really got of him.
Now, one of our local heroes, Esquinton Quayle, a.k.a. Dr. Satan. Shit. Murderer, torturer, but most of all, master surgeon. That was so badass!
Maybe he lives next door to you.
Calm down.
The amount of disgust those women have for those 2 men then, their vaginas are sealed and shut forever.
Just
That's
a little
not-
kid.
But time out. That's not how women look at you guys all the time, too. That's
Oh,
pretty much
sick burn.
pretty much every woman's ever looked at me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm used to
Anytime I
women.
get a new
yeah.
package of VHS tapes, Katie gives me that look.
I like.
Pops
waiting
or
for
Art
it.
Wells.
I'm waiting for it, dude. That's every relationship. Eventually, it's just like, God damn it, why? But yeah, I don't know. I thought they were all right. But, I'm a nerd too, so whatever. Yeah, let's go to the next clip. Boom, now I'm depressed. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but
What's that?
What, should we stop?
We can't leave her right here in the rain.
Stick her in the front if you want to pick her up so bad. Hey, this is crazy. She obviously doesn't know anything.
Oh, I know. I'll show you where it's at.
Whatever you need to do, you do it. There is no wrong.
Gotta go.
If someone needs to be killed, you kill them. That's the way.
You just pulled a fucking that's the way. This is the way.
I don't want anyone to pass over the fact that Jessup just went and masturbated. Like,
Yep.
It was a solid joke. I don't think anyone got
Great.
it.
I got it.
I heard it.
Jay's doing the same thing right now. Look at Jay. Where he's
Everybody hands up.
hand check. Hand check. It was Hobby. He's only got one up. I want to admit. I want to say earlier too. I almost said I want to admit that I jerked off to it too. I want to say earlier too. Whenever Captain Spaulding they came in to rob the place, he just went like that and flipped them off. I thought it was fucking great. Really went like that. That made me so happy. But yeah, she is gorgeous, and I am very happy that she's crazy and hot, and that's the kind of women everyone should be attracted to. When we talk about crazy pussy, Hobby. That's crazy pussy, good sir.
I love her laugh too. Her baby doll laugh. Is so good.
And I mean the character's creepy, and I know she plays up. It's annoying. And also, I want to say that footage of her talking about killing. I think that was maybe his audition tapes, or maybe his footage that he shot early on with 8mm to kind of get into character. Because he shows it of Otis also later, where I'm like, this seems like this is footage that's kind of like raw footage to kind of pitch for the movie.
Yeah, demo reel.
Yeah, it feels like that. Even so much so that I'm like, and he did it on 8mm too, which I thought was interesting. Clearly. I don't mind the 8mm shit in this. Everything else annoys me, but the 8mm I think is pretty cool. Next clip. Time to clip it up. Clip it up. What do we got? Otis had to do his introduction, even though I don't.
That is a question worth examining. How could I, being born of such conventional stock, a rival leader of the rebellion, an escapist from a conformist world destined to find happiness only in that which cannot be explained? I brought you here for a reason, but unfortunately, you and your sentimental minds are doing me no good. My brain is frozen, locked. I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface. Oh, Christ. Fuck it.
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. I could actually hear him saying that.
That was directly lifted from the White Zombie liner notes.
I mean, that's the thing. What the fuck is he talking about? Did anyone follow that rant at all?
Well, I mean, if you go on 4chan, you could probably see that exact thing.
Yeah.
It's the beginning
All I
of
know
incels
is this
right
is
there.
why you need to toss a coin to your Witcher. For fuck's sake.
Isn't Bill Moseley an Ivy League graduate too? I think he went to Harvard or Yale.
He's 47 in that scene, by the way.
He's almost 50.
He's 68 now. He's fucking. That's what I'm saying. That dude, whatever genetic shit he's on, I need to get some because that dude does not. He looks young as fuck.
What are you talking about? He looks like he's 1,000 in that.
1,000.
He looked at the goddamn crypt keeper.
Do the rants?
But a really good looking.
Does he look young for a hillbilly?
What's that?
Does he look young for a hillbilly?
Yeah. He looks. The meth has been good to him, is what we're saying.
That's a funny line.
So hillbilly wise, he looks young.
I don't like him so much in this movie, but his rants in the second movie are pretty epic. I like them a lot. But this movie, he doesn't make any sense. But I will say there's a movie that I was reminded of. There's a movie called Otis. Have you ever seen it, Will? It's about a big chunky guy who kidnaps a cheerleader and hides her in the basement. Have you never heard of this before? Made in the mid-2000s. You've seen it, Jake?
Yeah.
It's a killer fucking movie.
he captures the prom queen or whatever.
Yes, and he keeps her in the basement, and he puts her in a car.
Yeah.
It's a weird, fucking twisted, like slow-paced horror movie, but it's really good. So if you ever get a chance to check it out, it's just called Otis, and I started thinking about it because of that
movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. That movie in May was made in the early 2000s.
I fucking love May.
May's a killer fucking horror movie. That'll definitely go on the list hopefully in the future.
Is that the one with
Jeremy Sisto?
Anna Bettis.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Bettis, yeah.
Yeah, give me a May. I think it's
He
Maggie.
did do a movie like that.
He did.
Though.
He did.
Yeah.
When the daughter was turning into a zombie.
Yeah.
It's Maggie.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, Maggie, Mandy, May. What the fuck?
I'm judging. I like this because this is the beginning of the song close to
I thought you kids were all about team spirit. I mean, you ain't done fuck all to cheer me up since you got here. Give me a B. Give me an A. Give me a B. Give me a Y. What's that spell? What's that spell? What's that spell? Baby. You're damn right.
That's a great reveal, though.
It is. I'll give you that. But that documentary style zoom in's pretty good too. I like it.
Also, my favorite Ramones song.
Yeah, I really dig it. Like I said, the choice of some of the music in the soundtrack, I really like in this movie. And where there shouldn't be music, there's music playing over silence. There's no background effects. I thought that was kind of cool. But it just builds up, like I said earlier, like the creepiness of each of their rooms seems like their individual space, and they have their own victims, and it's just kind of, it's just creepy. It's a cool little thing that I think.
Did you ever get a sense that Sharon Moon wasn't acting in any of this?
Yeah.
Shirai Moon.
Yeah.
She's so hot though. Dessert. I made sure I didn't spell it as desert.
Look, she ain't gonna let any of us touch dessert unless you're wearing this damn thing.
Dennis Pimple.
Fucking awesome though. He like that grossed me out a little bit when he had the food in the mouth and he was still talking.
It's showtime!
Yeah, that bothered me just a little bit. So I was like, that unsettled me. It worked. All right, we got Leroy, little baby Leroy.
Little. Oh my baby.
Oh my God.
Such a special night for me.
That just bothered me. I don't know.
You know, looking back at this scene, it actually reminds me a lot of the Wicker Man at the end of it, where they're all wearing those fancy pagan masks, and they wear a lot of them that looked very much like that.
Are we talking the original or the remake?
The original, the only one that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Dude,
come on.
The second, the remake, whenever he is in the bear suit and he runs and punches that bitch in the face.
Yes!
It's like one of the best things ever, dude.
Ever!
So fucking
Especially
awesome.
if you find it where it's playing like that. Dun, 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 and it's slow motion. He runs up.
So this is a super tangent, but there was a music video, or there's a song that came out around that time called Knights of Sidonia by Muse.
Mm-hmm.
And also at the same time, he was about to play Ghost Rider. So me and a buddy, we actually thought of a dream, like an awesome way to edit it. And I still want to, and I'm sure we could, where at the end of the Wicker Man, where he gets burned alive, at the end of it, he actually becomes the Ghost Rider. And he comes out and just fucks everybody up with Knights of Sidonia playing, because it's got that tone of no one's gonna take. Yeah. Super tangent. Sorry.
Back to
That'd be dope.
No, that was good.
Back to masks and stuff.
No, back to this.
Disclaimer, I had no idea who's going to play this fucking clip.
Okay, I take it all back. I take it all back, Jacob.
So
I take
good.
it all back.
Oh, that's so good. All right, what do I got? Me and Jessup will appreciate this. Hobby will not. I don't understand why. Just can't get on that train.
I know what's on my mind. I'm not resting until I find what would make your
listen with joy. Now listen, big boy.
I said get the fuck off him, you stupid fucking whore! Fucking slut! You shouldn't have done that. Oh, really? Are you gonna do something about it? Do something, motherfucker. Yeah?
My favorite line.
Fucking cut your tits off and shove them down your throat! Baby, stop!
I'll
There was
fucking
like a
cut your
good-
tits off and shove them down your throat. Sorry, Will.
There was a good 5 seconds when I was putting the white on where I was making that decision of should I go with the Sherry Moon or should I go with the small?
That would have been fucking hilarious.
Either
God
one.
damn.
Do you think George
Shave
Lucas
my
ripped that off for the prequels? Because it kind of looks like Padme, doesn't it?
Oh
The
yeah.
way her
Oh yeah,
kinda
yeah,
does.
a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm
Hobby.
sure George Lucas was like, let's watch this Rob Zombie movie and let's
See
see
what
if
you
we
guys
can.
coming out with.
I
it.
like
Do you
what
guys
they're
think it'd be a
doing
good
with this,
idea if we do a Jew as a very stingy character? Would that be good? That wouldn't be racist at all, would it?
Yeah, I think Sherry Moon Zombie's pretty hot. Hobby,
Apparently
yes or
Kermit
no?
the Frog likes Rob Zombie, okay?
Hobby, I gotta know. Hobby, why? Yes or no to that?
What do you mean? What have you?
Yes or no to
How
what
long
I
have you
just
known
showed?
me?
Betty Boop, fucking Sherry Moon Zombie. Yes or no, Javito?
Jake, why am I unattracted to Jerry Moon Zombie?
Because she ain't thick.
And she doesn't have her lips are too thin. He doesn't like thin lips.
He doesn't like thin women.
Her self-esteem is too high.
He doesn't like thin women. He doesn't like thin lips. He doesn't like thin Lizzie, and he stands by all three.
That's a good incongruent third, Will.
Don't you ever play There's Gonna Be a Jailbreak.
I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying.
I know you're just saying.
I'm just saying. You know, you're right, though. You're right.
I am right.
Scarecrows. I love this. I thought this is one of the big talk contests.
Night, night, Dwight.
You know what? I didn't talk about that. I really like that in the middle of the movie. I thought that was really cool how that was done, and it was set up in a great way because the house is so cluttered and stuff like that. And like, obviously, the camera shows it, and you're like, well, something ain't right here. But then it goes, it's a misdirect because you think it's going to go for Pumpkinhead, and it goes for freaking white face guy, whatever that is.
If you had to pick a point, that would be the battery drop right there.
That would be the battery drop. You're
Yeah.
right. Yep. Yeah.
If you had to force a battery drop in this movie,
That was the battery drop.
That
would
was
be the
like
one.
a small battery drop.
AAA
It's a
drop.
watch battery.
Yeah, it was a watch
Yeah, it's
battery.
the small round silver
C
one you have
battery.
to get at
Yeah.
Walgreens
Yeah, it's a
behind
C
the
battery.
counter
Yep.
for like your remote control for your sound bar. That's the battery.
Little dime watch battery.
Or your
For your
LED
You know,
lamp.
you know why
For
that was
your
so
1982 Game & Watch.
The reason why that was so specific, Will, is I did that yesterday. I literally had to change my battery. And I had to take a picture of it because the numbers were so fucking small. And I had to zoom it in on my camera and like show the guy behind the counter, do you have this? So.
Bro, I was bummed out yesterday because my Dreamcast VMU doesn't have a battery because I couldn't find one. I was like, I really wanted to play the little Chow game on it, but it wasn't there. And I thought, like, when do you ever need a fucking, like one of these batteries ever? But anyhow, what, Jake?
I was gonna say, do y'all remember Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome?
Yeah. Yeah, way better movie. We should have watched that instead.
Whenever they put the helmet on Mad Max before he rode away into the desert, they put him on that horse and sent him off backwards. That's what that head reminded me of that Otis was wearing in that movie. I don't know if it was like supposed to be that, but it looks very close to that.
Nice reference, Jay.
Yeah, let's pull
Nice
it up.
reference.
What was it again? You said, let's pull up. Let's look real
Yeah, they put this. They put it's like a. Yeah, it's another. I think it's another pagan type thing. Pagan helmet.
What was the other one? You said Mad Max. What was it? I want to see.
Beyond Thunderdome.
It's like they like tie his hands up and they put this mask on him.
And they put a glass jar in front of a horse and they make him lead out into the desert so the horse just falls in the water. But he's supposed to be out there riding forever while he's facing backwards on this horse. He has this giant helmet thing with these big ears and a fucking campaigner hat, much like Otis is wearing here.
I did find it. Let's see.
I don't know if they probably used the same prop or found a fucking...
Well, the whole thing was shot in the back lot of Universal.
Right. So
there
that's...
it is. Huh. That's got to be it.
Right. It looks pretty similar to me. I don't understand.
Just like it.
Can you see it? So
yeah, that looks just like it.
Let's take a look.
All right, so we got that one there. And then
It looks pretty similar.
That's
Ooh,
pretty close.
I think the one on Mad Max is a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
Just a
I think so
little bit
also. Yeah, I think it's more comically bigger.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. All right, on to the next. I think it looks a little bit like Puppet Master, too.
Yeah,
Blade.
Yeah, the
Blade.
main guy.
Yeah, I like him. Fish Boy, that's the best part of the movie, hands down.
Fins down.
Fins down. So good.
No, this can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real.
That stuck with
It's
me.
real as I
Real as I want it to be.
Then it gets rapey as fuck after that. Ugh.
Where is Fish Boy right now? Someone's got to have that prop somewhere, right?
Someone has that.
Oh,
surely.
yeah.
Captain
That's killer.
Spaulding's fucking fried chicken and gasoline.
That's where it's at. Ethan, did you like that part of the movie at least?
That was cool. I love the effect. The prop is amazing, and it was a little shocking. I did not expect to see him as Fish Boy, but yeah.
You know what it reminded me
It
of?
has cool moments.
Did you guys ever watch Cabin in the Woods?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Remind me of Merman. It was like
Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Definitely.
Dude, we'll definitely watch Cabin in the Woods at some point. 'Cause that
wanted
movie,
to see a merman.
so good. Escaping Chinese basement.
I love he's
Matthew
eating his
McGraw.
cereal out of a dog food bowl. Also.
Take anyone? That creeped me out.
Time is over.
Has anyone done a porn parody of that scene?
I'm sure.
Rule 34, bro.
Will's gonna find it. I can't tell if Will's finding it or if he's making it.
Well, doesn't that scene kind of remind you of the scene from Bloodsucking Freaks, where any of y'all ever seen that?
I never saw it.
And there's a scene where this guy gets put into a cage and three women like tear him apart. It's very similar to that.
I remember that
they were
scene
completely
in,
naked.
What was it? Dracula Dead and Loving It. Whenever the virgin vampires.
Rob me!
Scariest movie ever.
I love that movie.
I think you just triggered Hop.
All right. All right. Who the fuck is this guy? He's in here for 2 seconds.
Yeah, Lewis Glover.
My name is Louis Glover, and I know this man.
Is it Danny Glover's brother?
I know the truth. You don't have to go to hell. You're in
Donald Glover's dad.
This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
So I didn't want to look it up, but I wanted Jay. When did Natural Born Killers come out?
94.
So it was well before this movie.
Yeah.
And that movie is loaded with clips like that, where it's some rando
Yeah, you're right.
chatting,
I love it,
screaming
though.
about something, and then going back into the movie. And I think that's where that came from.
Another inspiration for this one. Good, good work, Will.
Yeah.
Louis Dover. That is the name of that character.
Lewis
and-
Glover.
Well, that's what I heard too, but it says Louis Dover on the internet.
No, he
here.
literally
maybe
says
so.
Louis Glover.
Yeah, but the guy who
Sounds like
plays
he
it.
said Dover though.
It's
But on the
Dover.
subtitles it
was
says
half full.
Glover.
Oh God.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
Well, let's fight about it.
No, we're not going to fight about it because Jake said he watches movies
No, I'm
with the
just saying,
subtitles.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. They can get it
Right.
wrong because they said Rabbi whenever she was chasing Mary, and I think she was saying, "Here, Mary."
I'm pretty
instead of
sure
"Here,
though,
Rabbi." So, I
that
don't
guy is in another one of my favorite movies of all time, and Jake knows this movie. It's a movie called The Private Eyes with Don Knotts and
Oh,
Tim
yeah.
Conway. One of my
Yeah.
favorite movies ever made, and he
Yeah.
plays the Hunchback in it. So seeing him in this, I thought that was pretty cool. But if you guys ever watched The Private Eyes, I'll send you a link. It is one of the greatest comedies ever.
I mean, it's no apple dumpling game.
No,
but
it's
what
so
it
much
is.
better, bro. It's so much better than the apple. Fuck the
The
apple
Ghost of
dumpling
Mr.
game.
Chicken.
Ah, fuck that movie too. No, The Private Eyes, dude. It's a whodunit. It's so good. Fuck Knives Out. They ain't got
Well,
shit on this
so
movie.
they had that scene with this guy. He's like, "This is hell," but they
This
also
is
had
hell?
that one. That other scene that really intrigued me was like, "That damn Sasquatch slept with my wife."
Yeah, what was
You know what
that?
I'm talking
It was
about?
the same sort
Yeah.
of thing.
But you're
Yeah.
right, Will. That
Little
intrigues me
cutaways.
because it works in Natural Born Killers. It really works to add a lot of lore. But that movie also plays with different genres because like the first act of that movie is like a sitcom with a laugh track, like you said earlier, and so it kind of bends reality in a way. And I if you've never seen it, like I'm sure we all have.
It's also directed by Oliver Stone,
and he was on mushrooms and LSD when he made it. Openly admits to it. Oh,
Sure.
so good, dude. Fucking love that.
I think that movie is one of my favorite scenes of all time when they're having speaking of like laugh tracks, but the scene in Natural Born Killers where they turn it into a sitcom.
Yeah.
And
Rodney
Dangerfield at the beginning.
Rodney
so
Dangerfield.
good,
that is
Didn't
amazing.
Didn't we reference that last week, Jacob, about how scary Dangerfield was?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure we touched on it.
Yeah, it's so
Basically just like telling the audience he's gonna fuck his daughter.
Oh yeah, it was so
Right. Yeah.
wrong. Ugh. Yeah. Goggins gets it. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
It's a great shot. This is a really cool shot.
I really dig
This
it.
was cool.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Just whenever you feel it drags on too long,
Yep.
It drags on even longer.
drags on even longer, and then it's more satisfying. Yeah, it's like, oh God, when's it gonna happen? And it's like, still nothing.
I did like the music and how everything slowed. I thought this was probably the most cinematic shot of the movie.
Agreed.
It is pretty asymmetrical.
That shot goes in the
he
back.
pulls his arm up away, the way the dust comes out from behind, like
Yep.
it was all
beautiful.
pretty solidly done. Yeah.
That shot goes in the back of the VHS too. I think it does. Like that's
Yeah.
the one that you frame right there.
You might see a battery hanging around there. You might. It's up for debate.
Yeah.
Pussy lickers. Woo! Hobby, what do you think of that?
I like you.
Tell me that doesn't look like David Cross put on like fucking 112 pounds for this role.
I think you're
So we
right.
got.
God damn.
It does. It does.
It really
dude.
does.
You're right. You're right.
Call.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
This part did bother me, and I was going to say to you, Ethan, earlier when you were like, this movie sucks, I was going to be like, wait till they cut off the face. Because I do think it is disturbing. But even more so in the sequel, the way that they do that shit is way better. But I didn't like this.
Come on, sweetie. Give the old man some sugar.
That's old man Matt Damon from Saving Private Ryan.
Is it?
It is.
I'm the one who loves you. When you're fucking there.
Okay, how did she not know up until that point that wasn't her dad?
Trauma, shock, stress, everything else.
All right.
I'll one up that.
Disbelief.
All right.
I'll one up that.
Disbelief.
How did they
like
know
how-
that was her dad? Nowhere in this movie do they mention.
Yeah, that's
That-
true.
But
I think-
who's
I
assumed
think
that they
every time.
didn't take their belongings and look through all their purses and IDs and shit like that? This guy comes showing up to the door, and she kept talking about how she needed to call her dad. So they find her ID. They find this guy sleeping around their place. Look at his ID. Hey, there's a little correlation here.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Okay.
Sold on that. Also, maybe they have a
Good
police
save,
scanner.
Jake.
My
Nicely
dad
done.
is a detective, son.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's in the genes, baby. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that bothered me, and it still bothers me to this day. I don't like that, but also I didn't put it on there, but like you see his body laying on the couch before that without the face, like that shit just always gets to me. That just unsettles me in a way. I don't know, just something so inhuman about doing that. But yeah, all right. Moving on to the rabbits, which is part of the
Something
movie.
so inhuman about doing that.
Yeah, my bad. I hate the rabbits. I really do.
Good rabbit.
Goodbye, sweetie.
We could have been great.
Just let us go. I swear to God, we won't tell anyone. I swear.
Oh, honey, now you know I can't do that.
Now where does she think she's gonna run to? Where's she gonna run all the way home?
No! Let me get her!
Oh, all right, go get her.
Is that the Nerdist there too?
No.
That looks like Chris Hardwick right there.
No, that's
He's in the pit.
that's Rainn Wilson's girlfriend, Mary.
So
Rabbit, sit on my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch.
I do like this. This is hot. Crazy pussy, gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about right there.
So, Jake, you, the main villain from Hardcore Henry, Akan, he looks just like Otis. I was half expecting him to like raise his hand, start telekinetically
using the fucking
around.
force on the motherfucker.
Yeah, just boom, boom.
That, I'm right there with you. One thing that I noticed is Otis does more costume changes in this movie in a 2-day span than anything. Like right after this scene.
Oh, what the fuck? No, Jake.
What is Martin fucking calling?
What just happened? What are you yelling?
Sorry. Anyways, so what happens? Otis goes home and he changes into his Papa Emeritus costume from fucking Ghost, and he puts on a red robe directly after this, and it's like he's all painted up. Like
he does look like Ghost.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was Square Hammer. That's what I immediately saw.
He's got the fucking cross and the fucking skull face. It's like, but this happens directly after that scene. So did he just have it in the cars? Like, oh, let's go put this on. I got to conduct another ceremony. I don't get it.
I mean, I like Otis in this, but like I said, without the second movie, I think that he's just a little bit different. So
it's coming on here. It popped up.
Oh, did it? If you have Facebook open, Jake, that's why it's going to pop up. Do you have Facebook open? All right. You want to Are they saying brains?
I think they did say brains. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
I wonder if that was a Tarman reference.
No, it was a Return of the Living Dead reference.
That is Tarman.
That is Tarman, yeah. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but Tarman comes out like a beast. That's why I think that was. So
Tarman's so cool looking.
But that's my question: are these people? Yeah, I guess somebody answered it earlier. They're just the mental patients that he's been messing with. So, yeah, because like that's
one of my favorite shots.
Yeah, it feels
being the actors who thought they were done filming, and then Rob Zombie's like, "Hey, we got to add a whole new ending to this film. We got to get back."
What was the original ending? Do you know? They didn't do
the original ending is so they kill everybody. They don't go to that cross graveyard thing. They just kill everyone in the house. The one girl escapes, and it's totally Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She runs out, and then Captain Spaulding picks her up, but he's in the pickup. He's in like the truck that like the tow truck. And then in his back seat, remember his partner in the beginning of the film that pushes him through the haunted house? He's the one that pops up and kills her. So that's the original ending.
So the movie at that point, by the point you get to the labyrinth, it's still like a half hour worth of movie. So it would have been a very, very short movie.
No, because remember the unedited version is like 2.5 hours long.
Oh, okay. So they cut out a bunch.
They cut out a lot of shit
to get it down to an hour and a half.
Yeah, and apparently there was a huge torturing scene with Rainn Wilson being turned into the fish boy.
Well, they show a portion of it.
They touched on it. Yeah, they
touched on
the
it.
Razor blades.
Yeah, but there was like a huge whole scene, and there was another big scene with Baby that they cut out, which was apparently super like naughty, which bums me out.
And you said that's all gone, like all the.
Yeah, it's all lost. Yeah.
That's a bummer, dude. Because I'd really like to see that version of this movie. Maybe there was a more serious take on it, or maybe
I'll find it.
Yeah, get on it. All right, next. Here we go. Best shot of the movie, hands down. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
Not because I'm a perv.
Looks like that ossuary in Czechoslovakia or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's badass. I just like
that was done really well. Like the lighting is really well. The way she's all blue, and then that's a really good shot.
Someone check on Javi. I think he might. Oh nope, he's moving. Never mind.
He's just tired. He's on. So is Jay. Jay and Javi are both doing the same thing. On my one side of the screen, you just see two people like. like fucking zombies. It's all good.
I took a hella nap today too, man. I was like,
maybe you got. Dude, don't have the Rona, bro. That's all I got to say. I've never called.
Don't have the Mona.
Ugh.
No, I just woke up earlier today.
Here's Dr. Satan. Oh. No! Yeah, it bothered me too, even.
That's so cool.
That is a really fucking cool fucking villain.
It's a badass effect.
Yeah. Is that Doug Jones? Look how
It's, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the whole, what do you call it, Darth Maul in the prequel, where you're like, greatest villain ever, hardly in it.
2 seconds. Right. He is
such a cool villain.
Who found the professor toy the other day? Was that you, Jessup?
Jessup.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Like,
Get a look at that.
Yeah. There's a little bit of glare on it, but it's fucking badass.
Is that the one you got at Dallas Vintage Toys?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Where's that place at?
It's over off of Forest in like Plano, Forest Lane and Plano Boulevard, over on East Dallas off of 635.
Yeah, they just moved to like a much bigger location, right?
Yeah, I highly recommend
totally
going,
don't work
man.
for them, guys.
Yeah, I would go check it out, man. You give yourself at least a couple $100 to blow, and at least an hour to look around. It is fucking awesome.
We need to get sponsorship from Oddities, and from there, that would be awesome. Done and done. And then we'll just talk about them for free. We don't even have to be. You don't have to give us money. We'll just talk about it. The Professor. He's awesome for about 5 minutes. Oh! Predator style coming up here.
That camera pan was horrible.
Yeah, it's not good. You right. But come on.
So badass.
That is badass.
That costume's amazing. But
Yeah.
what was with the like fucking 80s kung fu movie?
Oh, by the way, the Professor is the worst axeman ever. He's got 2 opportunities to chop her with an axe and misses both times.
He can't even burn his children.
Place down on himself.
Yeah.
We'll get quite possibly pneumonia. You hear that gurgle? His lungs are chock full of fluid.
Oh, he's
Was
not
he
normal.
trying to scare him by taking the mask off and then shitting out the baby food out of his mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Like, was that like an intimidation factor, or just like I can't breathe?
Would you
breathe in this thing?
I would love to see, like, if I had $1 million, I would recreate both of those costumes of Dr. Satan and the Professor and do like a buddy sitcom TV show with the 2 of them and their wacky adventures.
The Professor looks like Nemesis from Resident Evil with Down syndrome. Like,
That's a good reference. I mean, that's actually
It's my Bloody Valentine.
But I was gonna say he doesn't. Well, we'll get there. He can't do shit right. I think that's our next clip. Boom, 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 boom.
Short bus.
Every '90s VHS cover, you know I'm right. They all look like that, did they not? With like the title of the movie right there above his head.
That fucker needs an inhaler.
Yes, he does.
I personally love that shot. That's one
I
of
do
my
too.
favorite shots,
I do too because no one does it, but that is every '90s VHS cover. And what do you love, Will? You love VHS.
I love VHS covers.
I know, dude. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
actually the cover for The Invisible Man that came out last year.
I mean, but it is. But I think it's a cool shot to do in a movie. Like I thought that was, like I said, he does a couple things really cool in this. But the Professor goes out like a bitch. Get my head.
Now, it's that situation, you could actually say the Professor got hoisted by his own petard.
And that's when Javi's batteries dropped.
That's just my life.
Like I said, he can't.
Very bad.
He was super terrifying, and then he got downsy on it, like you said, Hobbs. And then he fucking took himself out. And like I said, he can't even burn his children right. Like this guy can't do shit right. Like I'm not on board with it.
Loser is a loser.
It bums me out because they introduced Dr. Satan, which has an amazing.
Dr. Satan!
It's such a cool setup, and it does nothing with him. You know,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
hoping that he would escape from his things like the alien queen
Yeah.
at the end of Aliens and kind of escape. And start
But
chasing
less is
after him.
more, I think, with him. Just seeing him being creepy and kind of looking, it does give that haunted house effect of like, that's really fucked up. Like if you saw that in a haunted house, and even the way the Nerdist is kind of shaking, it looks so fake. It's just fun. And like whoever said it earlier, this movie is a haunted house.
Oh yeah, those last couple of scenes look like a really good haunted house.
Right.
How long did they spend down there? They made awfully quick work of Jerry. Like they went down in the coffin, and then all of a sudden they're running around, and then all of a sudden he's already on the operating table, just being fucking operated.
And I think that's why it makes sense that it's all in her head.
Right.
You know, when you look at it that way.
And he did get scalped earlier. I didn't clip it. I forgot to, but I thought that was kind of cool too. Like,
yeah.
And I don't think Chris Hardwick's bad in this movie, but he might be. I don't know.
Art is subjective.
Yeah.
You know, we're all right, but yet we're all wrong.
Yeah, David, I gotta ask you. You said you don't like Chris's you just don't like his stand up or what?
Actually, I was just kidding. I actually like Chris Hardwick. I think
No, his stand up is terrible. He's
but I'm just like he does y'all cross a lot of streams. Is what I'm saying. Like
no. I actually like him. I think I enjoy him better as a host.
Yes,
fair enough.
I agree.
He's
He's very charismatic, and he's got that host personality.
Yeah.
His comedy's not very good.
His band is actually pretty good. Hard and Firm.
Yes.
They're actually pretty talented, man.
That song "Pie" that they do is amazing.
They're really. I'm talking actually musically inclined. They're actually not that bad. They played a show in Addison about must have been 12, 13 years ago.
What does he do? What does he play?
I think he's just a guitarist.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
But the Nerdist podcast, even before it became ID10 or Idiot or whatever it is now, that's a killer podcast. His interview skills are fucking good because he comes across genuine, and that's what you have to do as somebody who interviews, and that's why I really like him. As for his comedy, whatever. That's probably gonna come back to bite me in the ass someday. Okay. Alice escapes. Yeah, because of this Alice in Wonderland bullshit that they're doing. I fucking hate it. That's a direct ripoff of every fucking...
That's a direct ripoff from the ending of Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. But it's just
or just the way any zombie ever got out of a grave. Ever.
And I get it. You got to do it. But at the same time, it's come on, bro. All right, heading towards the end here. Final scare.
Tumbleweeds.
I don't think he realized he didn't share a screen.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Duck, I don't think you're that scary.
We're good at this.
My bad.
You? Oh, there's a whole bunch of people been looking for your ass, girl.
I gotta get to a doctor.
All right. Sit back and relax. Take you to a doctor.
Woo!
I must say the music is quite good. I love those those little fucking cut things. You could tell Rob Zombie had some influence on the music in it, obviously, but I like those little, just like whatever Grandpa did Showtime. Yeah,
we had Danzy just top in the chat, and of course,
oh boy.
first thing, oh my God, what the fuck, Will?
I'm expecting a fucking face hugger to pop out of, or a fucking xenomorph to pop out of Javi's chest any second now.
Right. Start singing, hello, my baby.
Hello, my darling. All right,
check, please.
The end.
Oh, there's another.
Yep.
The second ending?
The end.
Uh-oh. So dumb.
Didn't really work, but I had to do it.
Sorry,
Sorry, guys. I had to yakety smack it or whatever it is.
Yakety smack.
I can't remember what it's called. I always give it a go. Here's what it is.
Doug, in that situation, just give her come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, this was the reason we did this movie was to kind of fit in with the theme of Thanksgiving, which is family, which this movie I think plays on big time. So this movie was great. Next week we will watch Scream.
That's so ominous, Javi.
The tramadol hit me. Next week we're gonna watch Scream. So I mean, we appreciate you definitely checking this out. And today,
Whoa.
What?
Oh, recommend.
Oh, yeah.
Recommends.
God damn it, Will. I was
Why do you
trying
forget
to.
me every time?
I was trying to tee
I
you
worked
up.
so hard on these graphics.
Yeah, and I wasn't told by you to try to forget it every time. I remembered. Okay, what do you got recommendation-wise, Will? What are we going with? Will
So
recommends.
So today we did. I went with Amazon Prime. So if you got Amazon Prime, you can watch these movies right now free. First one, Midnight Movie. This one's a lot of fun. It's a bunch of kids watching this 1970s movie inside of a movie theater, and the villain inside the movie actually comes out of the film, and fun ensues.
Yeah.
That's about a decade old, right? Came out like 2009, 2010, right?
I don't know, man. I watched it like a couple weeks ago.
Last Action Hero.
Oh,
exactly.
dude.
It's a horror movie, Last Action Hero.
I love that shit though. That's that premise just makes me so happy. What you got
fun.
next?
And then the next one's actually on Shudder. It's very different. It's not so much horror. It's just good storytelling. It's called Scare Me. It's about two writers. They're both on retreats, and they just happen to meet. And then the one girl, she goes over to his cabin because the lights go out, and they decide, let's write scary stories. And it's not crazy over the top. There's no like proper violence or blood or anything like that. It's just storytelling done perfectly. And I highly recommend checking it out if you have Shudder. I know David just got it.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to thank you, Will. Will gave me a list of 40,000 things to watch on Shudder. I'm kidding. Shudder only has like 12 things.
Yeah.
But one of the things he recommended was Behind the Mask, the Leslie Vernon story.
Yeah.
It was really good, man. I enjoyed
movie.
the shit out of that movie.
And dude, sometimes I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through all of them, man. I'm gonna go through all of them because I spent like $1,000 setting up Shudder so I can watch it on my fucking TV. So I'm gonna use it.
Well, when you're done with those, I'll send you even more because I use that thing like insane amounts.
Cool.
We talked about the DVDs back in the day, like you go to Blockbuster and stuff like that. That's one that I always saw on the thing, and I actually own that DVD, the Leslie Vernon one, and I never watched it. But there was another movie that came out around that same time, 2000. It's a George Romero movie called Bruiser. It's fucking weird, and it's a lot like that movie, where it's kind of a documentary on a killer. So if you ever get a chance to check that out, it's bizarre. Jay, you seen it?
Yeah, it's got Jason Fleming from Lock, Stock. He's a Guy Ritchie guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's either Lock, Stock, or Snatch. He's in one of those. He was in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He played Hyde in Dr. Jekyll.
It's a weird movie.
He's got this weird white face that he can't take off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and the bad guy is like just over the top and crazy. But Will's got it on the screen right now. So coming up next week, we got Scream. Hopefully we'll have McKenna join us for that one. That is her movie. She absolutely loves it. Thanksgiving after that, one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. It is, you guys, I think a couple of us have seen it, but it's totally worth the watch. And then we got Silent Night, Deadly Night kicking off our December Christmas spectacular, where we're going to watch some scary Christmas movies. We've also got a tentative schedule for the next couple of months based on a lot of our birthday choices. So when we get down the line, that'll be really cool. Ethan, we're still waiting on yours, of course, but hopefully you'll pick something freaking awesome. But Jessup, Jay, and Will and I have all picked a movie that we're really excited about watching on that. What we got next, Will? I was going to say, I'm not sure. All right, we'll go with...
Oh, no. Yeah, I figure we'll reveal them as the time
come.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, let's talk about David. David, you've got creepy animations, awesome stuff to sell. So where can we find all of that?
Go to Children of Dave on Instagram. And then on Facebook, go to Stop Motion Nightmares. And if you're in the Lakewood, White Rock Lake area, go to Curiosities in Lakewood and Curious Garden over by White Rock Lake. It's basically looks like the inside of the gas station of House of a Thousand Corpses.
And of course, I always link all that in the description. So please also go to his Instagram so you can see his creations. Children of Dave, so cool. It's so crazy, and we appreciate it as always that you've joined us on this. I really.
I love making the little stop motion things for the Horrocast.
Yes, check out our social media for it. They're amazing. He's done 2 bumpers so far. The last one, the Christmas themed one, you have got to check it out. It is beautiful.
So good.
It is creepy.
Nice.
It is so awesome. So go to our social media, which is linked in the description.
It's funny. I bought this at a garage sale across the street from some lady who was like super hardcore Christian, and she was like, "Oh, are you gonna put that in your Christmas like little decoration thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put it in."
If she saw what you did with it, she'd be like,
"Oh, okay."
But yeah, we'll throw up the bumper. Like I said, I'm gonna put it on YouTube. The bumpers you've done so far, they're freaking awesome. You can check us out every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Horrorcast. We are here on Twitch. Of course, I'm going to highlight some stuff from previous casts. Please go check those out. Also, you can find our podcast channel at We Are Podcast Network on Podbean. You can check out We Are Air. That is me, Jake, and Hobby. We talk movies, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Recently, it's been more whatever the fuck, but we've had some great podcasts. You Ain't List, where we talk about music and the memories attached to them. Weird News, which is one of my favorite podcasts to do on the channel. And we're just always having a good time and laughing. And usually get really drunk and just have a blast. Me and Ethan, we do We Are Bagu, a video game podcast where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. I'm about to drop a Fall Guys episode of that hopefully this week. It was a great one that we did with the boys from We Are Air and Austin McDonald, where they played Fall Guys while we talked about Fall Guys. It was
I think Austin got the win while we were recording that one too, which was perfect.
It was awesome. Also, I Hate Being Sober. I don't know if you have one for that. You do. I'm still working on putting out that cast that I did with Nathan Blackwell, but that should be out this week. Hopefully everything will be out this week now that I'm feeling better. Other than that, check out We Are.
Last but not least, Heroes Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Once again, we actually just finished up our Halloween special the other day. You can catch the whole live cast here on Twitch. Go back and watch that. It was a fun time. The actual snipped up version of it will be coming sometime down the line. And hopefully we'll be following up with our Christmas special.
Yes, that will be a freaking blast. Check out our Discord. Will, what are you doing over in Discord?
Nothing, just talking shit and having fun.
And we're definitely using that to play some games. We're having a lot of fun over there.
Send us your best memes, you motherfuckers. I want to see what you got.
And help us build the community. Invite your friends to it. Also, all of our other social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at /We Are Podcast. Everything is always linked extensively in the description of all of these things. So please go check us out. Other than that, we will be here next Monday at 8 p.m. to talk Scream. Nev Campbell is a goddess. Sherry Moo Zombie's hot, but Nev Campbell, sweet Jesus.
Bingo. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, I got Javi finally.
Bitch, I said that to you in the fucking chat last week that I was attracted to Nev fucking Campbell, bro.
You didn't say it on Twitch, though. But
my fuck, doesn't matter where I say the point is I still said it.
Wow. Hey, what was the movie she was in with Kevin Bacon where she had the
Things?
Yes. And
I remember.
And there it is. Thank you again so much for checking out the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And since this is Horrorcast, if you want to check us out live, we will be on Twitch and YouTube every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can find us at twitch.tv /We Are Podcast Network and youtube.com /We Are Podcast Network. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcasts here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Air, where we talk movies, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. That's me, that's Jake, and that's Javi. We're breaking down that pop culture, and we're having so much fun. And don't forget to check out We Are Bagu, a video game podcast, where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. That's me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood breaking down all that video game lore. Heroes Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Me and the boys were playing some D&D. You can start that one from Season 1, Episode 1. It's a blast the whole way through. And I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people. I sit down with some of my favorite people of all time. We talk about their trials, their tribulations, and their journey this far. Also, check the links in the description for our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast Network. With that said, hopefully we see you in the live stream.